History has been made. Donald Trump's mugshot shattering the internet, over 200 million views. And the New York Times, they're mildly perturbed here because all of the Trump allies are smiling in their mugshots. But that can't be. They quite literally wrote an article asking why people are smiling, because they're losing their minds. We'll talk about that stuff, plus just in general about Trump. One of the other articles that's popping up is they're all furious that Trump listed his weight as 215. We'll definitely talk about that. And then we got Oliver Anthony. I absolutely love this. Oliver Anthony roasting the GOP for playing his song during the debate. And he's like, I wrote that song about you. And I just love it. Because I'm not going to pretend to speak for that guy. Oliver Anthony speaks for himself. But I love the idea that they played that song for people up there demanding war. Oliver Anthony literally criticizes it. You got money for proxy wars, but not for the people here. And I'm like, yes. And that's just like general populism. So we're going to talk about all that. But before we get started, my friends, check out carriejans.substack.com. The Dirty Realist, link is in the description below. Carrie Jans, a member of Timcast. Friday is our member shout out. Is a therapist who is, let me give you the full description. I have a better description. Dr. Carrie Jans is a therapist, writer, and author with a Substack page, The Dirty Realist, where she writes about shifting culture, destroying mental health, and how to fight back. She's got a fiction novel coming out later this year based on her own struggles and path to identity. Action-packed and kinetic story with an overall message that promotes individualism, authenticity, and responsibility. We are eternally grateful for all of you as members. So check out Carrie, KARIJANZ.substack.com. And every Friday, we are going to shout out one of our members in the Discord. You guys, submit, talk about it, and then we'll choose one of you guys shout out because you guys are what make all this possible. I also want to mention, if you go to timcast.com, Timcast IRL X Miami. So it is now officially open to anyone to buy, and it's gonna be a big show. We got Patrick Bet David, Donald Trump Jr., Matt Gaetz, and it's me and Luke Rutkowski. We've got 757 tickets remaining, and it just went live yesterday. We expect them to sell out probably really, really quickly, and it's going to be a big show sponsored by Public Square, and we're really excited. I can't even begin to express the honor and privilege that it is to have these three individuals joining us. I mean, Trump Jr., Patrick Bet David, an amazing show. Trump Jr., of course, a tremendous force in politics with his dad as well. Matt Gaetz, my favorite member of Congress. So I really hope you guys do come to hang out with us Friday, October 6th, 2023, 1730 GMT minus 400 Eastern Daylight Time. And also become a member at timcast.com to support the show. We do not have a members only show just tonight, but Monday through Thursday, you can hang out as a member, submit questions, and even call into the show to talk to us. Joining us tonight, after you smash that like button, we got Fresh and Fit.
Hey, what's up, man?
We're back.
You're back. You were here this morning. You're here now. Who are you guys? What do you do?
Yeah, go ahead, Fresh. You got it first.
Well, me being black, I'll go first. Just kidding. My name's Fresh, part of Fresh Fit Podcast, one half of the show. And I'm a small kid from Barbados. Came over here 7 years ago. Started the podcast with Myron Gaines. And today we have the Fresh and Fit Podcast, as you know, today.
Myron Gaines, one half of the Fresh Fit Podcast, former Special Agent of Homeland Security Investigations. Did that for approximately 10 years. And we do a podcast called Fresh and Fit, #1 male self-improvement podcast in the world. We talk about getting your money on point, being attractive, getting in shape, and not being a loser in the current marketplace that is not favorable to men.
How often do you talk about federal agency stuff on your show?
I have another channel called Fed Reacts where I do true crime stuff and I cover that.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be interesting with your experience. You were already telling us a lot of stuff before the show started. I think it'll be pertaining to Trump and these charges. So
yeah.
We'll get into that.
For sure.
We got Brett.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Brett Dasovic. I do Pop Culture Crisis Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. I am filling in for Ian here tonight.
And I am Kellen. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. I do all the kind of behind the scenes stuff here, do all the post-production, all the clips that you guys see. If you have someone that can't sit down and get through a 2-hour podcast, tell them to go on the Timcast IRL YouTube, right, and check out the clips. They're all the stories that we cover each and every episode. It's like 10, 15 minutes, a lot easier to consume that way. But thanks for hanging out with you guys. It'll be good.
Let's jump into the first story. Oh, man, I love this. Why are Trump's accused co-conspirators smiling in their mugshots? A booking photo normally reflects gravity, bewilderment, and even surprise. That is not the case with some of the former president's co-defendants. Look at Jenna Ellis and David Schaefer in their mugshots in Georgia. I saw this, and I started thinking about it. All of the defendants, they seem to be having a pretty good time. I don't know about this. These are other people. But I think the answer is it also goes into why they all just surrendered without question. There's a strategy that we don't know. They see something coming. They are extremely confident that this is not going to go the way the Democrats plan it to go. And that's why they're laughing about it. I don't know exactly what that is. I know that we got, we have Trump's mugshot. Donald Trump posted his first tweet in 2.5 years or his first X, formerly Twitter. And it's his mugshot, and he's selling merch. If you go to his website and scroll down, I think they have it.
Legendary.
Dude,
Yo.
absolutely. Look at this.
Yeah.
Never surrender. Mugshot.
Yo.
Man.
It's
Mugshot
kind
mug. Sorry.
It's kind of surreal because there's like one of the things that I love to watch. They make these AI videos of Trump in jail singing songs with Joe Biden and Barack Obama.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing the actual mugshot. I think the mugshot's better than the AI pictures of him.
That's crazy, though. Hey, you're smart, though.
Yeah.
Businessman to the heart. More merch. But,
And- If I was these people, I would have smart like the defiance for being having a photo that bad taken of you with like the really bad lighting inside. You know, it's like there's like a flash on the camera while the room is already overly lit, just to laugh in their face. Right? It's an act of defiance.
so
I love how fast they got this up, too. It's like he tweeted this very quickly after he left the Georgia jail. The image comes up, and he's already got T-shirts for sale. To be fair, everybody did. What we did over at Timcast is we made the revenge poster where it looks like the Obama Hope poster, but it's Trump's mugshot where he's like looking all vicious and it says revenge.
Yeah.
I just want to say to anybody who sees that graphic that the one that we made, free to use and distribute, we it's free for public use. We have asserted that. I don't want to own that image. I want everyone to use that image, but we did put up a shirt for sale. I just want to make sure everyone realizes you can take that and make your own shirt. You don't got to buy from us. Some people just don't feel like it and they wanted to buy a shirt. I'll take it. But you can take that image and do whatever you want with it.
wow.
Nice. Man,
I
the
want people to put it around. It'd be funny.
Man,
It's
the
funny
people.
because everyone on Instagram is now posting that as their profile picture on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's legendary.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And it's the first thing that Democrats and Republicans have agreed on in like years because everyone loves the photo. The Democrats love it because they hate him. The
Yep.
Republicans and the populists love it because they love him.
Yeah.
And they understand that it's him in an act of defiance.
Yeah, he's gonna go up in the polls after this. He's gone up in the polls every single time he got indicted. So
But I'm just confused
think-
how a former president could be accused of this and actually possibly go to jail. That's crazy, bro.
it is wild.
This is America, right? I mean,
It is wild. I mean, it's been a witch hunt. I mean, from Alvin Bragg up in New York all the way to Jack Smith down in, indicting him down in Florida, and then in New York, and then now here in Georgia with this ridiculous RICO case, and then the fact that they went ahead and indicted Rudy Giuliani as well, who is what I would call the father of the RICO. It's crazy.
Look at Trump's prediction, Trump's movement in the prediction market. His indictment made him go up 3 cents. So if you look at like the 30-day, you can see that he like dips down a little bit and then he spikes back up 50, 57, 58, 61. I don't know about polls, whatever. All I can tell you is that Donald Trump, the prediction market believes he will be the Republican presidential nominee.
Yeah.
And they believe it more so that he's been indicted and a mugshot came out. This is what I'm curious about. What does it say about the state of this country that both Democrats and Republicans are celebrating this as a fundraising ticket, as a merchandising opportunity? There are people on the left making merch of his mugshot, saying like, criticizing him. Mm-hmm. Then there's conservatives posting the same the mugshot on mugs and shirts, saying justice, revenge, etc. Everybody likes the photo for different reasons.
yeah.
My concern is, what's the next step? If we're all here at this level, what's the next level? Donald Trump actually goes to jail, and then you get the right fundraising off him being in jail, and the left fundraising off him being in jail, and then what comes after that? What comes after that? They're not stopping. It just keeps getting crazier.
Does Secret Service stay with him if he goes to jail?
Yes.
So they have to stay in jail with him.
Yep.
Wow.
So I've done Secret Service details before. I protected a president of a foreign country out in Africa one time. And
One of ours?
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
One of our presidents?
No, foreign country, because it was
foreign
the UN.
president.
Yeah, a foreign president. Because so what ends up happening, right? So HSI is under DHS alongside Secret Service. So whenever you have the UN meetings, it's typically in September. At least when I was on the job, but they don't have the manpower to cover everybody. So they augment it with getting HSI agents in to help them out as well. So they're pretty thorough with their details and stuff like that. And as far as like the president goes, I don't know how they would actually be able to incarcerate him. Like everyone that sees him, you have to have a site survey a week or two prior.
Wow.
So I don't know how they would be able to actually jail him. I mean, the only way I could think of them actually putting him in some type of incarceration is they would maybe have to build another facility for him. Maybe they'd have to put him on house arrest.
I was gonna say house arrest for
it would have to be house arrest because it would be a nightmare, a logistical nightmare for the Secret Service to protect him while he's in jail. So of course he'd have to be isolated, but then all the prison guards that come in, the food that comes into him.
They can't put him on house arrest in Georgia. He didn't live there.
Maybe he could get a residence there. I don't know.
But I mean, what are they, like? If Trump is convicted in Georgia, they'd have to put him in jail. He went to the jail already. He wrote about it. He complained about it. He said it was awful. If they say, okay, fine, we get it, we'd have to shut down an entire wing of the prison just for Trump, Secret Service, and all of that stuff. So we're going to put him on house arrest. What do? Make him buy a house?
It'd be tough.
Offer him, hey, if you buy a house, you get house arrest. Otherwise, you're going to jail. Dan Bongino said Trump should just not post bond and force them to figure out what they're going to do.
Oh, because he's a former Secret Service agent. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He said federal supremacy clause. They could just shut down the whole prison. What are they going to do about it?
Yeah, because
But
you know
Trump-
what? That
Trump's not
would
gonna do that.
you know what? If he didn't post a bond, that would cause a logistical nightmare for them. That would
Yep.
actually. Wow. It's actually pretty smart.
I got to be
But he
honest,
knows that
like,
because he's former Secret Service, so he knows the nightmare it is to protect the president of the United States.
if it were me,
Wow.
I'm not Trump. And you can tell me that I'm wrong about this and Trump's doing the right thing. I'm not saying that I'm right about it. I'm just telling you how I feel. If I how old is Trump? 76? 77?
77, I think.
78.
78.
77, right?
That
I
nigga
think
old,
he's
man.
77.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Let me.
Because when he went to court in D.C., I think they asked
77.
him for his age. Yeah.
Yeah, because
He
they said he would be
77.
the same age
Yeah.
Biden was when he runs, if he wins for the second term.
If I was 77 and I was in Trump's position, dude, it's balls to the wall. You guys ever watch Little Miss Sunshine, that movie? I think it's that movie. You've seen it, Kellen? Yeah. Is that the one where the grandfather is doing heroin?
Oh,
I think
it's been a while.
It might be. I could be wrong. It could be a different movie I'm thinking of. But basically, it's like this really old guy, and they find out that he's doing heroin, and they're like, "What is wrong with you?" He's like, "I'm 80 years old. I don't care." And like, if I was 77, I'd be like, "Lock me up. I don't care. I'm gonna lay down, and then you get to deal with all of the world's problems."
Yeah.
I get it. I'm not Trump. Trump's not me. But I'm 37. I'm at the point where I just be like, "Let me sleep." Like
Yeah.
if I don't post bond, you're telling me I get a few months off. I'm just gonna lay down and go to bed. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
He's not wired that way.
Yeah.
Right. He's
not wired
The
that
real
way.
He
issue,
would,
though.
yeah, and he's got a campaign.
Yeah.
But that would be a logistical nightmare for them in Atlanta.
Yeah, but I think it helps him in the long run. A lot of people said it's hard to campaign, but think about the chaos the Democrats would cause if they actually remanded him.
Yeah.
I'd let them. I'd say this. They come in phone and say we're going to negotiate your terms of surrender, and I'll be like, I refuse to post any bond at all. I would have said that outright, and they would have been like, then we're going to arrange it. Do it. Have fun. And then what they'd say, no bail. And then I would come out afterwards and be like, if they thought the charges were real, why didn't they require bail?
You know what? They would fold. They would just release him on his personal recognizance.
And
That's what they would do.
But that's what I'm
They would
saying.
fold.
If in the negotiations Trump said, I will not post bond, period, if you impose it, they would have said, okay, then recognizance, like
Yeah.
no bail. And then,
Yeah.
okay, deal. Then I would have walked out of the prison, out of the jail, and just said, if these charges were serious, wouldn't they have tried to require bail or remand? They didn't even do that. They told me I'm free to go because they're unserious people.
Yeah.
So either way, you get the winning PR move out of it.
Yeah.
That's like a circus, man.
Yeah, that's actually.
But in this, Trump just said, I'll pay whatever. And so all that really happens now is they get their narrative of Trump as a criminal out on bond.
Yeah. I think for him, he's like, I got to campaign. I got to campaign. I got to get back out there and let the people know.
Bro, sometimes you've got to be the one being you have to be more aggressive to put the pressure on the other player, right? You know what? I know people don't care for the poker analogies, but we were just playing earlier.
Yeah.
And we were we were teaching you guys the basics of it. But you can have the losing hand, but if you're more aggressive, your opponent folds. So you might be thinking, Trump could be thinking, if they arrest me, I'm in trouble because I'm not gonna be able to campaign and I think I'll lose. Try a bluff. Trump then says, arrest me, I dare you. How scared are you? And they're gonna say, no, we won't do it. Even though it may actually screw Trump over, they might be too scared and they might just say, okay, you're free to go. And then Trump gets the PR play out of it.
So you're saying go full Breaking Bad, Walter White, just go with it, run with it, and just head for the hills.
I'm just saying if I was 77, if I was 77, I would just be like, there is nothing you can say or do. I am old.
I'm gonna die anyway.
Like I'm
He's
just
not
so
wired
tired.
that way though. He
My-
can't do that. He has to push back on the people. He's
Yeah.
petty with the people who
Yeah.
who slight him.
Yeah.
I do like the idea, however, of like him trying to like scrounge a phone in prison to send out tweets. Like every update is from like a black market phone that he has
Yeah.
to get from an inmate.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
that's
that would have
dope.
been hilarious. But no, I mean, these are absolutely, no pun intended, trumped up charges on him, right? And I think this is a political play from Fannie Willis, whatever they want to call her. I mean, she did this with the YSL case. She wants to do a big press release. I mean, they indicted him at night. She's been trying to push for this thing for a while. And, are all the charges going to stick? Probably not. But it sounds sexy to say, oh, we got a RICO case. I mean,
Well,
go ahead.
let me ask you about this.
Please.
You were mentioning before, you've charged people under espionage. You've got experience in law enforcement.
Yes.
What do you think about? So there's a bunch of different charges, and there's
Yeah.
New York, there's Florida, federal jurisdiction.
I can run through them real quick.
Yeah,
if you want.
tell me what you think.
So first, he got indicted out in New York for the falsifying business record stuff, right? Which that typically is a BS misdemeanor, but they're trying to get him on the felony version of it. Which whatever. Alvin Bragg has a hard on against Trump. I think he campaigned, if I'm not mistaken, as DA, saying I'm going to go after Trump, right? Then you got the classified documents case out of Mar-a-Lago, which the FBI, if you guys know, they did the search warrant at the place, etc. He didn't return some records. They searched the place, found a bunch of documents, and they went ahead and charged him with that, right? And then now you got the DC stuff with the January 6th, which they're saying that he used his political power to try to stop the election and, etc. And then Georgia pretty much hit him with the same exact situation, but with Georgia statutes, and they did it under the Racketeering Act of Georgia, right? It's a state case. So he has two state cases, one in New York, one in Georgia, and then two federal ones, one out of the Southern District of Florida, and then another one out of the District of Columbia, out of DC. So that's the overall cases. But sorry, you had something, Tim?
no.
Yeah, but that's the general
Just
overall.
The general question of what do you think about the charges in your experience?
Okay,
You said they were trumped up. So
yeah,
I'm like,
but the Georgia ones I think are. What concerns me is the classified documents case, and the reason why, because I actually did take a case on this. I think it's 18 USC 793E. Someone could check that if they want on the law. If I'm
wait,
right,
say it one more time.
18 USC 793E, I believe, is the statute. Which is going to
Gathering, transmitting, or losing defense information.
Bam, there you go. So
that's what they're getting Trump on.
that's what they're going after him for, right? And that's one of the statutes. And that's if those are the same charges that Robert Hansen, they famously went after him for, the corrupt FBI agent that sold secrets to the Russians back, about 20 years ago now. He actually just died in prison a couple months ago. But my thing is with the Espionage Act, it's fairly clear cut. Hey, this is national defense information or it's classified. You have it. You're not supposed to have it. And the thing that worries me is that the prosecution have him on recording saying, when he was doing an interview over a book or something like that, but they have him they have it in the discovery. Hey, when I was president, I could have declassified this. This is, secret stuff, blah, blah. So
That doesn't prove the documents. That is not evidence he had classified documents.
well, they have the witness saying that they saw the documents. They know what the documents are.
So a
and
witness
was more-
actually said that I didn't know that. I know that they claimed that they had the superseding indictment that got him on the Iran documents, and they said that he had classified documents.
Yeah.
But I don't think the audio proves that. The audio, who knows what he was talking about?
Well, what the audio proves,
if a witness says
what
yes.
the audio proves is this, because one of his biggest defenses was, and I just want to put this out there. I like Trump. I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm putting that out there. You can say that I'm biased towards Trump, but I have to acknowledge that, like, with these statutes, etc., that this is not good. That he had, because it's pretty clear cut. And the thing is that he said, "Oh, well, I could have declassified them. That's my authority as the president." He's correct, but he's admitting on the record that he did not declassify them, and he's acknowledging that they're national defense and/or classified information to a degree. So, and here's the other thing too with national defense information, NDI, it doesn't necessarily have to be classified to be constituted as NDI. It can be anything that's military, and you're not supposed to have that, right? Or certain people aren't supposed to have access to that. So that's what concerns me, because they found it there in Mar-a-Lago. And here's the other thing too. They're going to argue, oh, well, we gave you the opportunity to give some of the documents back, which he actually did. He did give some of the documents back, and they didn't charge him for those documents. But the problem is that he lied to his lawyers, right? And he said, oh, yeah, no, we gave all the documents back, etc. And then his assistant, the guy that they indicted, Waltunoa is how it's pronounced, if I'm not mistaken. Him and another guy moved the boxes around, right? And then Trump's lawyers certified that they gave everything over to the FBI. Then here's what really scares me. I read through the indictment, and in the indictment, it says that they have lawyers' notes. Well, that's not good, because we know that lawyers, right, all the correspondence with their defendants is considered privilege. Law enforcement not supposed to have that. So,
Right.
for example, when I was doing interviews, if a guy I was interviewing said, I want a lawyer, and the lawyer shows up and they talk, I have to leave the room.
Right.
And anything I hear can't be used. It's privilege, 100%. He could say, I did it. I can't use that, right? So the fact that the FBI put privileged information in the indictment tells me that those lawyers flipped. So those lawyers are not cooperating with the Bureau.
Doesn't matter.
How does it not
It doesn't matter if they flip.
No, they're going to testify against Trump is my point.
I don't think they'll be allowed to.
No, they absolutely will. And I'll tell you why. The reason why is because the FBI probably told them, oh, you guys came here, certified this document, said you gave us all the boxes, right? And they're now it looks like they lied to them and they're complicit in the crime.
Your lawyer cannot be compelled to testify against you. I'm pretty sure they cannot do that. I'm not saying they won't, because a lot of things they can't do, they're doing anyway. They're
Yeah.
criminally charging lawyers. But I'll make two counterpoints.
Go ahead, please.
The first is, I'm not a lawyer, man. I could be totally wrong. I just Google search, can your lawyer testify against you? And the first thing that pops up is your attorney cannot be compelled to testify against you or disclose what you said during your conversations. So if they were to give privileged communications, it doesn't matter.
They did. It's in the indictment.
Right, and so that's gonna be a Supreme Court challenge that Trump's gonna win on. The other thing I'll add is the law you cited, not saying that this in any way shuts down the case against Trump, because this is just something that you're familiar with. I don't know exactly what they're going for Trump with, but this one says Trump had to believe it would advantage or a foreign nation or injure the United States. I don't think you can prove that with what Trump did. If Trump sold information or flew on a trip to Russia with the information, he's in deep trouble. He's got boxes in his house. You're going to claim that Trump thought that would injure the United States? He's like, there's a news report about it in Politico, the documents he's talking about, and he wasn't providing any information or advantage to a foreign nation.
Well,
But again, if they're getting Trump on a different charge, this one just specifically says,
well,
believe
there's
the
different
information.
subsections of it. There's different subsections.
But
of
they
that statute.
they all say something to the effect of aforementioned. Right. So there are.
Yeah,
You mentioned
there's a million
E.
subsections in that law. It's written very
Right.
broadly for a reason. So, but what I'm saying is that's the general statute that they hit him with, right? It's 18 U.S.C. 793. There's different subsections.
Section E that you mentioned says, in which the information the possessor has reason to believe could be used to the injury of the United States or to the advantage of a foreign nation, willfully communicates, delivers, transmits, or causes to be communicated, delivered, transmitted, attempts to communicate, deliver, transmit, blah, blah, blah. Oh my, geez, these laws.
It's written
or
very
willfully
broadly, man.
retains the same and fails to deliver to the office or employer of the United States, entitled to receive it, blah, blah, blah. I think a component of this, I could be wrong, is he had to have believed that having those documents would cause harm to the United States.
Well, that's kind of
That's
implied by the level of classification of the documents. It's put in there. Everybody knows when you have a clearance, if certain documents were to get out, right, whether it's secret, top secret, confidential, whatever it is, they say, okay, this document, if got out, it would cause grave danger to the United States, or would cause severe danger to the United States. You know this when you get your clearance, when you have certain documents. It's put all the documents are labeled. So it's kind of implied when you have a clearance, when you're dealing with that type of document, that hey, if this were to get out, it would be an issue. So they know it. And again, this is this is coming from a guy that likes Trump. But my concern is Jack Smith would not have indicted him on this if they were not 100% sure that they would be able to get him. And the thing that kills it is that his lawyers certified to the FBI, yo, we gave everything back. And then they went and did the search warrant, and then they found the documents there. So that puts the lawyers in a precarious situation where the FBI can now go to them and say, we're going to indict you guys too. Because how do we know that you guys weren't complicit in it? Oh, no, we're not complicit in it. We'll cooperate. And then they gave them memorialized notes, and it's in the indictment. So my thing is this. Whether they decide to testify or not is one thing, but they're absolutely cooperating. I know that. They would not put privileged information like that in the federal indictment if they were not cooperating. They have a bunch of witnesses. And then you got...
Didn't he just
I'll just
change
put it this way.
lawyers too? I thought I saw the other day that he just changed lawyers anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had this conversation the other day with Eric Hunley, and I said that I think they're going to, with Chase Burrow, who's being criminally charged, his trial is going to be October 23rd. I said, what are the chances he takes a deal or gets convicted for, Espionage Act, insurrection, RICO, blah, 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 whatever they're charging him with. And in that trial, he makes statements of fact and provides some kind of testimony, court-heard evidence that Trump instructed him to do it. The Democrats then file a civil charge under the 14th Amendment to remove Trump from the election because he's an insurrectionist. They say, we got a guy who was convicted who told the courts under oath these things, implicating Donald Trump in an act of insurrection. Now we use this evidence to have him removed from the ballot. He said, "Oh, but they couldn't do that because Trump's not been convicted." And I'm like, I'm not talking about Trump being convicted of a crime. I'm saying a civil lawsuit under the 14th to have his name taken off the ballot. His argument was they can't do that. And my response is just, bro, there's a lot of things they can't do. They can't arrest someone's legal counsel, and they did. Like, Jenna Ellis is the biggest red flag because she's just like, she was just Trump's lawyer. She's not like, she's not going around knocking on doors demanding people change votes or anything like that. She's just Trump's lawyer, and they criminally charge her under RICO.
And that's why I'm saying the Georgia stuff I'm not too concerned with. I think if anything, it's gonna get watered down. Fannie Willis is a clout chaser trying to move up in the political world.
I get that, but I'm saying they're all going to do whatever they can, legal or not. So everything you're saying about his lawyers, I'm saying, well, maybe they can't do that. They're gonna.
And that's why politically the left does so much better, right? Because they just ignore the rules all the time anyways.
They do.
The Republicans are, for the most part, like we always say, just Democrats going the speed limit, because the Democrats know that power is gained not by following the rules, but by breaking them. And they don't have a problem with that because most of the people have been poisoned by the media anyways. Like, I have friends on both sides, like I said, I have people on both sides posting the mugshot, and the people who don't like him and are posting it, they can't even really articulate why
They never can.
or explain why these charges in particular are so egregious. They just know they don't like them. And so you take a general public that's been poisoned against someone by the media, and you take politicians and activist DAs who have no problem wielding political and legal power against someone, even if it's against the law, even if it doesn't follow the letter of the law. And you get to a place like this, and then somebody asks, how did our country get here? Well, that's how it got here.
Yeah. And like I said, the Georgia stuff, I'm not too worried about. The classified documents has me concerned, right, as a Trump supporter. So, because I know how that statute, it's very, I mean, you read it. It's extremely broadly written.
Jeez.
And it's designed to go after people for espionage. So they're going to do everything in their power to get you in every nook and cranny. And yeah, dude, it's and then the fact that the lawyers are probably going to cooperate. We know that they're going to try to flip the guy that tried to destroy the surveillance footage. They're going to try to flip his assistant Natswa. They're going to, and it is what it is, man. I mean, the only way I see him beating this is my what I think is he would have to become president and pardon himself. But it's not explicitly written in the Constitution if a president can pardon himself. It just says he can pardon.
Right.
So for the federal charges. Now for the state stuff, I know me and you had a discussion on it. I didn't know this. Georgia's a little bit different. Can you tell us about that?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, we didn't fact check it, but I think Georgia has a panel. The governor has to confer with a panel for pardons.
Okay. Yeah, different states. I think Florida, the governor can just pardon you. But Georgia, might be with a panel. Every state's different.
What if another
State Board of Pardons and Paroles.
There you go.
What if like DeSantis won? Could he pardon him too?
Yes, DeSantis said he would pardon Trump if he became president.
Yeah.
He would entertain it.
Yeah.
He would entertain it.
I will say something just totally totally irrelevant. It was funny that you said nook and cranny because I thought for a second, I'm like, what's a cranny? No one ever says that word unless they say nook and cranny.
Yeah.
And so I looked it up. Cranny is a very small, narrow space.
Oh,
it's kind of obvious.
So what the hell's a nook then?
Also a small.
So it's
and then
both.
it got me thinking about waffles.
Yeah. but I think
Because the commercial is like they're pouring the maple syrup and they're like covering every nook and cranny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I think the charges I'm most concerned with are the document charges because they're pretty cut and dry. He had them. They're at the house. They're classified or national defense information. They gave him a chance. They're going to argue. We gave him months. We had to open up a grand jury investigation to get these documents. We did a search warrant. We look at all of these ridiculous acts we have to take to get these documents back. That's what they're going to say. The January 6th stuff, I mean, Jack Smith just has a hard on for Trump at this point, to be honest with you. But the thing that worries me as well is that I know how the feds operate, right? And just for the audience to understand, the feds have the luxury of taking the cases they know that they can win and the cases that they want. Most U.S. attorneys' offices have a 90% plus success rate
It's like 99,
with their cases.
95.
Yeah, like the Southern District of New York, etc. These big districts, they don't lose because it's the DA's offices that typically lose because they take on disorderly conduct. They take all the dumb charges.
Yep.
But the feds take the big, sexy cases. So typically they don't indict until I remember when I used to go and present for grand jury, et cetera, because I would go in there and present. You don't indict unless you know you're going to win the trial. Yeah. You indict ready to go to trial at that point. I remember going to grand jury with all my stuff, and then we would hand the discovery over to the defense counsel, everything there. And they were like, oh, man, we're going to need some time to review this. And then sometimes the overwhelming amount of evidence makes them say, we're just going to plead.
Yeah.
So then what happens if Trump is convicted?
Of which one?
Any one
the
of them.
document one?
Yeah. We'll start there because that's like, what's the penalty?
They're gonna label him a spy, is what they're gonna. Even though that's ridiculous and ludicrous, they're gonna say, "Oh, he was convicted under the same charges that we go after spies with. Robert Hansen, Operation Shadows, which I know they caught those 10 Russians that were here spying for like a damn near a decade.
Yeah.
And then we caught them. What did we do? We traded them for, some other spies because that's what we do. So they're going to go ahead and try to label him as a spy, unfortunately, which is ridiculous.
And it's a lot of these charges, if I'm not much mistaken, like these are the type of things that they would always give the benefit of the doubt to a past president for, because in the political system, if you were in the inside, you were given leeway and they weren't going to go after you. And that's the part that bums me out, is because you see a lot of people who feel like they're getting this guy and that he's always been this evil figure, not realizing that he's doing the same stuff that Obama did, the same stuff that Bush did, the same stuff that Bush Sr. did, that Clinton did. All these things are not new to the system. It's just that this dude needs to be taken down because he pushed from outside the establishment.
I want to say this too as well. If you look, right, anyone that applies, anyone that's watching that has a clearance that worked for the government, you guys know some of the questions they ask you. Have you ever tried to overthrow the United States government? Have you ever, collected information for a foreign government, etc.? The two charges they're getting him for on the federal side are what? One is an espionage side that they could label him a spy, and the other one is overthrowing the U.S. government. What do both these charges have? They disqualify you from government service, or they label you as unfit for government service, and that's what they're trying to do.
But if Donald Trump in any way is removed from this election, bedlam.
Yeah,
I just absolute chaos.
it's going to be chaos. Yeah, they better not remove him. I think for this, they shouldn't remove him.
If Trump gets removed from even a single state, I think social order in this country ceases to exist.
Yeah, it'll be a problem.
But people need to understand this. I do mention this a lot, but in the context, I'm in Egypt during the revolution. You could still go to McDonald's and order a cheeseburger. Mm-hmm. You could still go and buy goods at the mall. You can still buy a cell phone. Social order breaking down and the government collapsing doesn't change the fact that people are still living and trading and working and businesses are running. So by social order breakdown, I just mean, like I said, you're going to get, the other day, you're going to get people in small towns who will just look at a guy with a federal badge like a guy in a clown costume. Like, no different. A guy with a clown suit walks up to you and says, "Hey, don't move," and holds a rubber nose in front of you. Freeze! You're like, what is this? What does that rubber nose mean to me? Get out of here, clown. There's going to be people in small towns who are going to see a hold a federal badge and be like, you might as well hold up a clown nose. That didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sucks because, you go from, like let's look at the FBI. You go from an agency that, was responsible for putting away people like La Cosa Nostra, investigating some of the most egregious crimes against the United States. And, now their image is tarnished, right? All the good that they've done, right? They've done a lot of bad too, but they don't care because, they're being weaponized, right? To go after a U.S. president.
They're in on it. Now, I'm not saying every single FBI agent, because I've spoken. So this is the thing, like a lot of people are like abolish the intel agencies. I don't completely disagree. Splinter the CIA, scatter into the wind, all that stuff. We all know those statements. Vivek wants to abolish the FBI. What he really means is transfer them to various different agencies, decentralize.
He'll never be able to do that, unfortunately. And I like Vivek too.
I've met guys who work in intel, and I ask them, "Yo, what's going on?" And they say, "Everything you see outside is exactly what's happening inside." You ever wonder why it is that, like, man, what example could I think off the top of my head? People won't speak up about some issue. They'll say, "Oh, like, leave me out of it. I'm scared." The average person, trans women in female sports. Like, obviously, if you ask the average person, the polls show most people do not want this.
Yeah.
Ask them publicly with a camera in front of their face, and they shut their mouth and they say nothing.
Yep.
So that's what I'm told by some of these intel guys. They're like, a lot of people here voted for Trump. A lot of people don't like what's going on, but they're scared if they speak up, they're going to get fired, they're going to get shunned, they're going to get ostracized, they're going to get targeted, so they just keep their mouths shut.
Right.
Yeah, I'll tell you from my experience, when I was on a job, a lot of us were supported Trump. Trump was pro law enforcement, you know what I mean, when he was in. Yeah. So the law enforcement community loved him. It's the guys at the higher up. Because here's the thing, too, I want people to understand. You got a special agent, right? That guy is a GS-13, right? Whatever. He's doing his cases. He's doing what he's got to do. It's the management, the 14s, the 15s, the SACs, the directors, etc. Those are the guys that are making the political moves, etc., trying to move on up. The guys on the ground that are doing the cases, a lot of the times, man, they just want to do their cases, be done, go after the bad guys. It is what it is. But it's the brass that are doing this crap where a lot of times it's politically motivated. But yeah, a lot of guys, a lot of law enforcement guys, especially at the lower levels, right? They're pro-Trump. They're pro because those guys are pro-law enforcement.
But here's what they do. Some higher up guy who's political finds people he can trust to agree with him and then says, they're putting me in charge of insert bureau in office. I want you to come work with me. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. So then you end up with a particular office where the guy running it is politically charged. He brought a bunch of his buddies who are all super political. And now you have this one particular office where everybody is taking partisan action. So these agents that are investigating and going after Trump, they like that they're doing it. They're not upset that they're doing it.
Well, it's DC agents. So and I'll clarify that too. So DC is super woke. We all know this, right? It was actually the DC office that ran that investigation. And when they came down, they did the search warrants, they did everything. And, obviously the Miami field office is going to help and everything else like that, but it's the DC office that's running it. So, it is what it is, man. It's just a sad time in America.
Go ahead. You
made a very good point earlier about how other presidents in the past did the same thing that he basically did, but they got nothing for it. And it's scary because if you look at it from a holistic standpoint, Trump is basically advocate for like the opposite of what's currently in the political space. However, challenging anything that's currently like set in stone here for the political landscape is demonized. And it means that any other president that tries to, I want to say, do the opposite is going to be shunned too. So it's kind of scary, bro.
And you look at, there's lots of pictures of Bush with Obama. They're all friends, right? It's now about establishment versus populists and people who support.
Did you see his interview with Tucker?
Yeah.
He said in there that basically everything started to roll once he got rid of Comey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he said in the interview with Tucker, basically they kind of started, the pitchfork started to come out once he got rid of Comey.
And how you described what was going on, whether we're talking somebody high up in the government who then hires people that he knows are loyal to him. That's why I take a lot of issue with the idea of drain the swamp. They're like, get rid of the heads of this agency, get rid of the heads of this agency. Like all of these people mentored people who, even if they're not necessarily 100% in line with them as far as their political views, they feel a sense of loyalty to that person, or at least the person who's in charge is politically savvy enough to hire people that he knows think the same as him, right? Because he's training them to, if not succeed him, to work under him to help him achieve whatever he wants to accomplish, right? It's not so easy as to just fire a bunch of people because somebody else is going to take that job, and you run the risk that person is going to be every bit as bad as the guy you fired.
Yeah. Once you're at the what we call the special agent in charge level, which some agencies call a SAC or SAIC or etc., it starts to get political, and that's the guy that's the head of the field office, right, of a certain geographic area, and they're overseeing sometimes hundreds of agents. So at that point it starts to become political, and they're really just kind of the puppets of the higher ups over out of the Washington D.C. office.
It says here on uscodehouse.gov, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. Not more than 10 years. What are the chances he gets convicted and they just say, all right, you were found guilty, time served. Time served, I was in the jail.
Of which charge specifically?
The espionage.
Oh, the espionage one? The chance of him
They just say, no fine, time served, have a nice day. Disqualified.
Yeah.
They don't need to put him in jail. That's the thing. Like, the fear is that Trump gets put into jail, which causes bedlam. Everyone's like, screaming. But they could just be like, don't worry, we're not going to lock you up. We don't think you're a threat beyond this because you're not president, and your penalty is that you can't run for office anymore.
I mean, isn't that even worse, though? Then it looks to the people that I know that just dislike him and don't understand how politically motivated this is. That screams politically motivated to just say, no time. They'll have to throw him in jail to make it seem like there was actually a crime for them to punish him for.
Yeah.
If they just let him go, then it absolutely looks like a banana.
I think the strategy is this, and I think I'd said this on the onset when he first got indicted. And I think his legal team is trying to do this. Delay, man. He's got to make it to 2024, win the election, pardon himself from the federal charges, and hopefully, the state of Georgia we can figure something out with that. But and then the New York stuff, I'm not even worried about. That's a BS charge.
The Georgia stuff is where the chaos ensues, because if they do convict him, and he gets sentenced to jail, and then he wins the presidency, what happens when
they're not going to trial though on that for years, dude? The state of Georgia is so backed up. These state courts are so backlogged.
Kenneth Cheseborough is going October 23rd.
For the RICO charges?
That's right. October 23rd.
of next year.
No. October 23rd this year.
Impossible.
They wanted March of next year for Trump. They're trying to get a conviction before the election.
Wow.
They're just posturing. There's absolutely no way.
Let me double check.
Yeah, double check. But there's absolutely no way that they can go ahead and try to get a trial with him in
you go.
October of. They could push, but his legal team is going to fight that and be like, we
Kenneth
need time.
Chaseborough called for a speedy trial, so they said October 23rd, and they agreed. A judge confirmed.
Yeah,
They said they wanted Trump to go in March 4th. Willis proposed the trial should start for all 19 defendants on March 4th, 2024.
Wow.
yeah. Trump's team is going to fight that and be like, we need more time to prepare. Go over to discovery.
Right.
They're gonna file extensions. There's no way.
I don't even know why Trump went to Georgia in the first place. Force Joe Biden to send federal marshals to extradite Trump from New Jersey or Florida. Florida's a better bet because New Jersey they didn't extradite Trump in 2 seconds. But if Trump went to Florida and said, whatever charges may arise out of, if he went to Florida and said any charges arising, and right next to Georgia, by the way, arising out of Georgia, they can send the legal paperwork to my house, serve me proper legal service, for which I will respond. But the idea that you can go on the TV and claim I have to surrender is not legal service. Then what would happen is they'd have to contact Florida, right? Georgia would have to ask law enforcement in Florida to apprehend and extradite Donald Trump.
So I'll tell you how it would go. So, because I've done this, I've seen this happen before. So if you are a fugitive from justice and you're out of state and they know that you're out of state or they can no longer fulfill that warrant, what they're going to do is they're going to delegate that warrant to the United States Marshal Service. Once the United States Marshal Service gets the warrant, now they're responsible for going to go get him. So they would probably coordinate with the Secret Service. Hey, where's he at? We have to execute this arrest warrant that we have from the state of Georgia, and they would bring him in. Now, knowing Jack Smith and how he is, they would probably also get something out of Atlanta, out of the I think it's the Northern District of Georgia, whatever, the federal prosecutor's office over there in Fulton County. They would probably apply for what's something called the UFAP warrant, which is an unlawful flight to avoid prosecution warrant. And they would hit him with another federal charge because they know that he's indicted and he's not showing up, and then the marshals have to go get him.
That's after legal service.
I mean, he's been indicted by a grand jury, man. Like,
Right. And so the government can't just go on TV and say, those guys from Fresh and Fit, they got 10 days to go to jail because we said so. You'd be like, what? Send me the legal paperwork requesting my,
they have a true bill. That's all they need.
So without legal notice, they can claim you're a fugitive without even telling you.
They have a true bill of indictment, and they're telling him that he's wanted.
No. I'm saying legal service requires they tell Trump that he's wanted.
They said you need to surrender.
Right. My point is going on TV is not proper legal service. Like if I go on TV and announce I'm suing someone, they don't have to do anything. And then if I never give them the paperwork, they're gonna be like, Your Honor, like going on TV and claiming a legal thing does not make it legal service. I agree, improper serve.
But I mean, a criminal
service.
case. I mean, realistically speaking, whenever they indict you, right? They do it surreptitiously. They get an arrest warrant from the clerk, and then they go pick you up so that you don't know you're being picked up. So in this case, they would just say, well, we indicted you. We have a true bill. Here it is. They put it out
so
there.
The marshals would have to come to Florida and say, Trump, you are hereby under arrest for a warrant in Georgia, and then
assuming he doesn't surrender, then they would have to delegate the warrant to the marshals.
Saying.
Yeah,
Donald Trump should have gone to Florida and said, "Deliver me proper service."
Oof. I don't know, man. I think he did the good thing by surrendering, because if he had done that, right, then Georgia would be like, okay, cool. Not only are we going to file a UFAP warrant against you, so now you're going to get another federal charge.
Yep.
Now the marshals are going to go get you, and it's going to be a problem. So
then Ron DeSantis would have to be like, we're going to let him come in and just take Trump from his home. It's no big deal. And then there would be chaos and bedlam. Make them follow up with their threats. If there's these charges against Trump out of Georgia are psychotic and insane.
They're stupid. Yeah.
You want to make an argument about, and all I'm saying is that Trump should make them follow the law. Like the idea that Trump would take the extra effort to seek them out when they are accusing him doesn't make sense to me. If the police
no, but they have an arrest warrant for him.
And so I'm saying, go deliver the warrant. Go to his house, knock on the door. Here's your warrant. Okay, take me. We're going to Georgia. The idea that Trump contacted them and was like, I heard on the TV that you have a warrant for me. Should I come in? Makes no sense to me. He should be like, come knock on my door. Tell me that you have a warrant or in some way initiate that through a legal process.
I'm sure they probably faxed the warrant to his legal team. They it was signed by a judge. I guarantee you they gave that to him. They faxed it to his team and let him know. And the other reason too why they announced is that so he's put on notice. He can make, because you got to remember he's the president of the United States, a former president of the United States. They got to coordinate with Secret Service. You got 10 days to surrender, etc. So they have to do all this logistical stuff. But typically, you're never notified that you're being under arrest because they're going to come get you and then they're going to, oh yeah, we have a warrant for your arrest.
And I'm saying Trump should have had that happen. He should have had them just follow the proper legal protocol for coming and arresting him.
Oh, no, but I mean, they're going to give him the common courtesy, and then he's with the Secret Service, right?
I don't think any of us are served properly by Donald Trump proactively seeking out his political persecution, unless it's to just fundraise, and he knows it's not going to matter.
And they wanted to make a media spectacle about it, and it's
Trump's
like
giving, and so I think the proper thing is let them serve their warrant.
like go arrest him. Go physically actually go try to go get him.
It's not like he's fleeing. He's in his house. They knock on his door like what they do with Roger Stone, and they say, Donald Trump, you're under arrest. And he goes, okay. And he gets in the car, and they go to Georgia. That's what they do. Roger Stone wasn't contacted and then told to go show up at their course. They went to his house. Trump should have said, I'm here. I'm waiting. Serve me the warrant. I got no issues. We will absolutely abide by the terms. I don't understand why it's incumbent upon him to proactively seek out his surrender in another state when they haven't served him.
They've done it. They've done it in all the cases, though. Every time they indicted him,
and I'm saying that Trump and all of his allies are surrendering and giving in and giving them everything they want. My point is, what position would this country be in if federal marshals were forced to go arrest the former president in his own home, and Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, agreed to allow it to happen? There's a certain point where if Trump, as the former president, says this stops, like not posting bond, call their bluff. Say, are you really intending a political persecution and prosecution of a former president? Then you will go by you'll go by the book. You will take the warrant, you will get it signed off, and you will come and make the arrest. Trump giving them what they want and calling them up on the phone and be like, I'll come, okay.
Well, here's the other reason too. Here's the other reason too. I see your perspective, but the other reason as well is that they can go ahead and say, okay, well, you don't want to show up. Well, we're going to remand you into custody.
Yes, 100%. That's my point.
Yeah, so, and you're saying that let them get remanded into custody and everything else like that. But he wants to run, bro. He wants to go around and campaign and everything else like that. So he's looking at it like, all right, I'm going to cooperate, right? Because they're already trying to paint him as, you started the January 6th riots, even though he said, protest peacefully. But the left tends to forget that he said protest peacefully, but whatever. So in his eyes, he's like, all right, I'm going to go ahead, go through the motions. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to abide by the law. Then I'm going to get out and do what I got to do. But I think for him, he's looking at it like, if I don't surrender, they're going to probably remand me into custody and I won't be able to campaign, which would be a nightmare for them to remand him into custody.
I don't think they would.
You could call the bluff. Yeah, that's a possibility.
So
I won't argue you on that.
The big problem that I see, especially with the right in this country, is capitulation every step of the way. Mm-hmm. The reasonableness, the desire to be reasonable and not engage. You're playing a game of Monopoly. You're watching the dude you're playing against pull bills out of the bank. And you go, hey, man, you're cheating. And they go, no, I'm allowed to do it. And you go, okay. And then you lose. And you go, man, how did I lose? That's what they're doing.
It's also his lawyers, too, that are probably... Because I guarantee you Trump is probably like, well, you know what? No, I don't want to show up. But his lawyers are telling him, hey, man, you got to show up. Like, let's just get this done. Let's do this peacefully, etc., so that you can keep campaigning.
And so what happens is every day, a grain of sand is added to the heap.
Yeah.
And as a better analogy is frogs in a pot boiling. As the temperature increases by 1 degree every day, the frogs... It's actually not a true story. Frogs do notice, but the analogy as it goes, if you put frogs in a boiling pot, they jump out. If you put them in water and slowly turn the temperature up, they just boil to death.
Yeah.
Because they don't realize the temperature is changing. It's actually not true. If the temperature gets too hot, the frogs will just literally jump out. But the stories are more fun. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, that's bullshit.
There's got to be some degree of Donald Trump, at the very least, providing the legal minimum of some kind of restraint or resistance in, if you guys have a warrant for my arrest, you have my address, and I will gladly, without resistance, right? Just go with you when you come to pick me up. Trump paid, how much did it cost to fly that jet? 50 grand? Trump paid $50,000 to go to surrender for them.
The other thing too, you got to remember,
it's a path of least resistance.
The other thing too, you got to remember is that when a warrant's put out for someone and there's a felony warrant out for them, Secret Service is still law enforcement.
That's right.
And
I'd like to see the Secret Service cuff Donald Trump and bring him to a van And that's something the American people should see.
That's crazy.
They're like, this is awkward.
Yeah, you're like, because technically, because if you look at any whether it's a federal or state warrant, it says to any peace officer and or officer of the United States. Most warrants are written like that, written in some kind of language like that. Secret Service is technically sworn law enforcement, so it's like it gets tricky, man. It gets very, very tricky.
Leftists are willing to engage in a wide range of tactics, from nonviolent civil disobedience, which I think is the most effective and reasonable tool for political change. Generating awareness, being obstructive, but not engaging in like overt acts of violence and like, no danger. Yeah. I'm talking about they will sit down on the street, piss people off. It's super annoying, and then they'll get arrested for it. I find it really annoying, but I think that's the right way to go about things. Some stress on the system, but nobody gets hurt. However, the left is also willing to firebomb buildings, pull out guns, shoot and kill people. Donald Trump's not even willing to say, please serve the warrant and I will gladly be arrested. He's saying, I will pay $50,000 to get on a plane and go fly to you so you can arrest me. And I'm just like, man.
And put up a $200,000 bond.
Yeah.
20 grand.
Yeah, 20 grand, 10%. But
I will say, to be fair, this is just more of what I'm really saying is, where's any degree of passive resistance? And I don't want to imply I know their legal strategy better. I think there's probably a reason Trump went about doing this. I think
his legal team is telling him to do this.
But I think it's political
100%.
team too.
Yeah.
I think his political team is saying the amount of money you're going to make off of this will absolutely be worth the trip. The amount of the campaign will cover the cost of flying the plane for you to go. Probably can't do it that way legally, but the amount of money that you make in selling merch.
No, I was just going to say, the merch drop. He's like, he doesn't get to plan the merch drop.
And here's the other thing, too, you got to remember. It's very obvious that the media is willing to twist and contort Trump's words to make him sound like an insurrectionist. So by him not surrendering and not complying, they're going to say, look, we told you he's an anarchist. He doesn't care about the United States. January 6th, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, in his head, he's like, okay, I'm running for president. I don't want to put off an idea that I'm an insurrectionist, even though I'm not. But the media is against him. You look at MSNBC, CNN, all these guys, they're all vilifying him. And I'm like, that's not true. That's not what he said. But they do that, right, to make him look crazy. So in his head, he's like, all right, I need to surrender. And even though he could, say, oh, you guys come get me. They could look at that as like, oh, look, we told you guys.
The law and order guy is out here not obeying. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So that's from an optics situation. It could look bad too.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying he should do anything illegal. I'm saying he should just say, I am ready and willing to respond to any warrant.
Come and get me. Do your jobs.
But the media, but you're saying the media would twist it anyways.
They would twist it,
matter, and the average person who's only paying attention.
And I'm saying this
again.
Right,
Trump refuses to surrender.
Yeah.
I'm saying this that I think that the best route for him surrendering, because I'm looking at it from an optics standpoint, like from a law enforcement standpoint. I know how the judges are. I know how they might look at it as they might remand him to custody. I want him to win. I'm gonna vote for him. I don't care. I'm putting it out there. But I want him to be able to run and be able to campaign and win and beat these assholes.
Isn't it telling that his co-conspirators, so to speak, are smiling in their mugshots? Yeah. It's kind of like maybe they know something that we don't know, but
I don't know if it's that they know something that we don't know.
They know that it's BS charges.
Yeah.
They know like you're really going ahead and indicting his lawyers in this situation.
The Jenna
you guys
Ellis
are reaching. Yeah, you guys are
insane.
Reaching. And again, the state. So at the state level, they're okay with putting ridiculous charges on people to get a media spectacle, because the state doesn't care if they lose cases. The state loses cases all the time. It's the U.S. Attorney's Office that cares about winning cases, which is why I'm more concerned with the federal charges that Jack Smith is bringing against Trump versus these state charges.
What does it mean for America if he's convicted? You said anarchy a little bit?
Not anarchy. Anarchy is anarchy in the truest and purest sense is just no authority. It doesn't imply chaos or violence or anything like that. It could literally be a bunch of people sitting around sharing a piece of pipe. You know what I mean? Conflict, active conflict between factions, and social disorder, social breakdown. So I do think a component could be civil war. We are likely in a period of civil strife right now. I often quote Stephen Marsh, who wrote the book and studied this. This is a period where typically occurs before civil wars, where a certain number of people are killed every year for political reasons, and the U.S. qualifies. There's a lot of people don't realize how many people are killed every year over some kind of political or ideological issue.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump is convicted, or if he's removed from one state, look, we all saw what happened on January 6th. They've got people locked up in D.C. who have not been charged with any crime. Do you guys know that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've talked about the January 6th stuff as well. A lot of those people, most of them were charged with a BS misdemeanor, man.
And
it's
they're
incredible
getting
to
a
me.
year in jail because they walked around confused.
The Bureau went ahead and wasted a bunch of resources and time. Normally, federal agencies are not supposed to investigate misdemeanors, but they expended a ridiculous amount of resources to go after guys for misdemeanors. If you read those criminal complaints, a lot of them are misdemeanors.
What do you think happens when you got the Capitol Police setting up Tampa office? They got an office out on the West Coast somewhere, and they're hunting down people from January 6th. And I'm not talking about people who are violent and fighting with cops, because you riot, you go to jail. There's one guy who's been locked up 2.5 years without any charges. And he was told, if you say Trump made you do it, we'll let you go right now. And he said no.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And it's not the only case like that. There's a photo that just came out of a guy who was in
at? Is he
they're-
at
they're
BOP
in-
or where's he at?
DC prison? I don't know. I can pull it up.
Let's pull it up.
There was
What's
one
his name?
guy.
Let's pull it up.
Let's see.
Go BOP inmate.
I would
locator?
for that one. I have to ask Matt Brainerd.
Okay. Yeah, all we
Let
need
me-
is his name and his last name, first name, and then his approximate age, and we could pull it up on BOP.
I can-
inmate
We
locator.
had a podcast with somebody that spoke about that, Myron. I forgot who it was. January 6th. I forgot who it was. Spoke about people being locked up.
Oh, look at this. Feds dispute story behind viral photos allegedly depicting January 6th prisoner abuse. So let's see. This was Tom Fitton.
Whoa.
Disturbing photos leaked of January 6th prisoner abuse, tortured 5 months in isolation in a closet room with a light on and a bucket for a toilet. So the Gateway Pundit adds on to it, claiming it, and they're saying that the Fed said that he had 9 prior convictions, terroristic threats. He had an assault conviction prior to that has nothing to do with January 6th. Okay, so they're not disputing it. They're saying he's a criminal. Okay. But they're saying there's a litany of... Oh, okay, all right. It was a litany of charges related to January 6th, but he was a bad guy, so the photos are real, I guess? As for the other guy who's locked up, you have to ask Matt Brainerd, because I'm just, to be fair,
Okay.
I defer to him.
Okay.
I think it was Matt Brainerd who talked to us about
Yeah,
that on
because
the show.
we could look it up if
And Tom
we have
Fitton.
his name.
The guys who actually focus a lot more on the January 6th stuff than I do, to be completely honest.
Okay.
So then I'll walk it back and just say this.
Sure.
I met a woman recently. She said that she's getting probably 16 months because an hour later, after people had already left, she walked over and there's no barricades, there's no signs, there's nothing. And they walked up to the building where the doors are open. They don't see anybody. They see people walk around. They walk in, look around, 6 minutes in total. They walk out and they leave. Next thing they know, they're called insurrectionists and they're going to go to prison.
Wow.
And they were like, but we didn't even, like, we were just walking around. We're not even there for this. And they're like, don't matter. So you've got that going on. My point is this. What happens when...
Meanwhile, we won't prosecute Antifa people.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Trump gets convicted. Nobody believes it. Trump gets removed from even a single state. The entire election will be viewed as illegitimate. And already, 2016 was called illegitimate by Democrats. 2020 was illegitimate by Republicans. What do you think happens when they outright just say, Trump's off the ballot? Roseanne Barr came on the show and said there won't be an election. And Michael Malice said, I'll bet you money that's not true. I said, let's clarify. By election, do you mean a typical election as we know it? Debate night, then everyone goes and casts their votes on election day, then they tell all the numbers, and then we say who won? Is that an election? Do you mean Joe Biden will come out and say, I hereby decree there is no election, and bang a gavel? Or are you saying Trump will be removed and no one will think that what is actually happening is an election? Like some facade of election occurs, but it's not legitimate because Trump has already been removed, and so there's no way he can win, and Biden is a foregone conclusion, in which case people will say there was no election.
Yeah.
And then you've got half the country, or more, slightly more actually, because independents will probably agree, not all of them, that an election never occurred. Unless Donald Trump is allowed to run, and unless he is on all of the states, and we run it like normal, to be fair, even then people still won't believe it, but unless that happens, anything that puts a wrench in the spokes, Michigan removes Trump's name. They say, oh, he's in. Georgia removes his name. One state. Then you're going to have half the country say...
Do the states have the authority to remove his name from the ballot?
So under the argument that they're making...
For
they did it to
presidential candidate?
They did it to a guy. They did it to a guy named Coy Griffin in New Mexico. He was at January 6th, and they said, as an insurrectionist under the 14th Amendment, he is disqualified from holding office, and they removed him.
Wow.
That was their trial balloon. Now with Donald Trump, they want to do the same thing.
But that was under state law?
Federal.
Or they
14th
they use the 14th Amendment to justify.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
So because the 14th Amendment says anyone who's waged insurrection, the reason they keep saying insurrection is because of the 14th Amendment.
Yep.
Which specifically says anyone who wages insurrection against the U.S. is ineligible, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
If Trump's name is taken off even one state, you'll have half this country saying we never had a 2024 election.
Yeah.
Yeah. They better
Like-
let him run, man.
Imagine it's like North Korea. At that point, they just say it's North Korea. Oh yeah, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea had an election, and Kim Jong-un got 99.9% of the votes again. And then the other guy who ran against him just goes, "Oh well, everyone loves him."
Yeah.
And then afterwards, they walk back, and say, "Here's your paycheck. Keep your mouth shut."
Yeah, and my problem with this too is like if you're going to go ahead and go after Trump for these charges, then you got to look at the Bidens as well, man. I mean, the dude's receiving millions from China. His son's involved in some nefarious activity. Everyone has their dirt, so it's like, okay, if you're going to go ahead and go after politicians, cool, go after all of them.
Yeah.
Go
And
after
they
all
never
of them.
do.
Then
And
they never do. That's the
And
problem.
That's the problem. And I think a lot of this, I feel the same way about the media. Like, as much as we hate the media, and no matter how much you hate the media, you should probably hate them more in most cases, they would feel less bad if they even made a half of an attempt to be as willing to go against people on their own side to feign some sense of legitimacy and honesty in their reporting, right? If they were willing to report on Joe Biden's or even Hunter Biden's incidents half as much as they're willing to talk about Trump, you could at least feign some sense of objectivity from the media. The same with the government. If they were willing to go as much against Hunter and Joe, not offer sweetheart deals to Hunter, and actually seem like you were trying to hold, what do they always say? Speak truth to power. If you were actually trying to hold power accountable, maybe people might buy it more. But they
Yeah.
don't, because they understand, at least the ones who are politically aware and pay close attention, understand that they're not going to do that, because they never do.
And this is why mainstream media is dying. This is why guys like you are so important, right? Alternative media, right? You guys, Joe Rogan, etc. Like, this is why people are tuning in to other platforms to go ahead and get their news. I mean, CNN, MSNBC, these guys are dying. The last time they had as many views is what? When Trump was on the CNN town hall.
Yeah.
Like, he brought them a bunch of views. They're dying, bro, because everyone knows it's BS.
But this brings up another issue, though. So imagine alternate media, right? We have pretty much like free speech, so to say. However, if they come after us, what's next? Because once again,
Yeah.
Trump is being, kind of like put on the stake because he's
Vilified, yeah.
not with the establishment. What about us?
Media personalities are next.
100%.
James O'Keefe is under investigation in New York. And what I was saying was after they go for lawyers, the next people are going to be members of the media who are in communication with Donald Trump and then who publicly advocated for some kind of action on January 6th.
Yeah.
Now, James O'Keefe's under investigation. That's more of a general, they're targeting their political opponents. But I want to pull up this story. No chance of being fairly considered. DOJ sues Musk's SpaceX for refugee discrimination. This is the Biden administration targeting their political opponents. Why? Because Elon Musk bought X. Elon Musk is allowing people to come back. He's allowing people to speak. They can't stop him. They'll try and destroy him. I got this tweet from Elon. Somebody tweeted, Tom Mueller said, "So if I let a non-U.S. citizen see our rocket hardware, I go to ITAR jail. But if I don't hire a non-U.S. citizen, I get sued by the DOJ. Got it." Elon Musk says, SpaceX was told repeatedly that hiring anyone who is not a permanent resident of the United States would violate international arms trafficking law, which would be a criminal offense. We couldn't even hire Canadian citizens, despite Canada being a part of NORAD. Wow. This is yet another case of the weaponization of the DOJ for political purposes, and he is 100% correct. Elon Musk is stepping out in front of the machine, and they are pissed off about it. And so now he is being sued in the most psychotic way imaginable that he hired too many American citizens.
This is
Wow.
crazy because look at NASA. They're not doing anything right now compared to SpaceX, right? So they're going to hamper SpaceX and take one of the most, successful spacefaring companies in recent memory. They're going to hamper them.
Well,
they're going to handicap them.
I'll tell you what the real issue is. The real issue is that the DOJ knows that if Elon Musk actually builds Starship, it's going to crash into the firmament, exploding, exposing the Earth as flat.
Wait.
The chaos ensues.
Come on, bro.
Come on, bro. I am kidding.
You're trolling.
It's going to get to the end of the planet. where it's
Tim,
all-
do you believe in flat Earth?
Of course not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course.
That's the joke.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That the DOJ is
I was like,
scared.
there's no way. Not Tim, too. No way, man.
Now the ice wall is a different story.
That's
Bro,
what you have to worry about.
Global
next.
warming?
We were arguing because I know, I have these friends who are like, then why can't you go to Antarctica, Tim? And I'm like, you can literally go to Antarctica. Like, there's this weird thing where they're like, if the Earth was round, then why don't they let us go to Antarctica? I'm like, some dude filmed himself marching through Antarctica, bro. It's just you got to get a permit for it.
They think there's like government agents guarding the end of the Earth.
Well, they're right. They literally flat earthers think, not all of them, that if you get too close to the edge of flat Earth, there's armed ships that will stop you.
They're going to reassign Trump's Secret Service after he goes to jail and send him to the end of the Earth.
I'll be completely fair.
You need a permit to go to Antarctica?
Yes, it's controlled by various military groups. I think there's like 14 nations that have territory there.
Okay.
And because it's scientific research and strategic location that's uninhabited. If you can show up on a cargo ship doing supply delivery and then like go on the shore and like look at the penguins and stuff like that. Tons of people do these little tours. You're there for a few hours and you leave. If you want to do an extended thing, you just have to let the other countries know, because it would be like entering Russia without a visa. And so because of that, they're like, then why won't they let you go? And I'm like, bro, you can't go to Russia without a permit. The Earth isn't flat because Russia is requiring visas. I just love the idea though that there's like a secret conspiratorial battalion guarding the edge of flat Earth, so that anyone who gets too close at any point of the flat Earth, they stop you. Like, dude, there's no secret cabal dedicated to protecting the firmament.
It's where all that black budget money is going.
Gotcha. I've never heard the flat Earth theory, so this is all new to me.
Oh, there's a
something
bunch.
I haven't.
We have friends that believe in it. I don't know why, but once again,
To be fair, I've not gone to outer space and looked at the Earth, so but there's a whole bunch of other reason why the flat Earth stuff is just stupid. But it is what it is. Some
if you
people believe it.
flat Earth is real, your other conspiracies are also wacky as well, which is funny enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Hilarious.
the Earth is it's actually flat and hollow.
I was going to say, what about Hollow Earth? That's what we really should be talking about.
No, like this is the real conspiracy.
Donut Earth.
See, everybody keeps saying that the Earth is flat, and there's the other one, the Earth is hollow. I think it's flat and hollow. It's a donut.
Okay.
It's a donut.
Donut Earth.
Donut Earth theory. We just can't tell.
Wait, so then
that'd
the
be
other
pretty
planets
crazy,
are
though.
donut holes and the Earth is just
right.
a regular donut?
Wouldn't it be crazy though if the Earth was actually a donut? Like you are hanging out in your city on the inner ring and you look up and you see Chicago.
Yeah.
That'd be so weird.
What
that's the
about,
moon's
what about
from the
aliens?
It'd be Halo.
You believe in aliens, Tim?
I mean, I believe alien life is possible, but whether or not there's intelligent alien life roaming around, I don't know.
A lot of people did until the government said they were real.
I love that. Yeah, the meme that's like conspiracy theorists in 1990, and it's like aliens are real.
Yeah.
Regular person, oh shut up, no they're not. Conspiracy theorists 2023, regular person, aliens are real. Conspiracy theorists, no they're not.
Yeah. Literally. Now they're the opposite. Yeah.
Anyway, back to what we were talking about though.
Yeah.
They're going after Elon. They want to shut down anybody who they want to cause financial harm to anybody who's helping them out. Here's a guy who put Trump back on Twitter. Trump's making a lot of money off that.
Yeah.
They're pissed. How are you supposed to stop Trump if Elon Musk is giving him this massive platform they try to take away from him? Before Elon had it, Trump was banned off everything.
I thought he was allowed back on Facebook or something. wasn't
Recently.
he? Yeah, recently.
His ban expired or something.
It was like 2 years. They're like, okay, fine. You can come back.
But we can see a formula that happens with people that they want to be quiet. Basically, they cancel your accounts.
Yep.
For example, social media.
They ban
your
you.
bank accounts as well. And then they go after your family. And then put you in jail. The next, pretty much like death, pretty much.
I like the idea that like they go after Trump for listing his weight as incorrect. They're like, you lied on a government document. You are not 215 pounds. That's BS.
Yeah. And I can tell you from experience, like when you book somebody in, you don't put them on a scale. You just ask them, how much do you weigh? And they'll tell you,
for
and you're
real?
like, okay.
Trump's like 7 feet tall and 180. And
Yeah.
they're like, you got a boss.
Yeah. Like you just like, when you intake them, you're like, oh, whatever, bro. And you just write it down. It's like, okay.
Maybe 8 right before he got booked.
Yeah.
Maybe 8.
Like you typically don't question,
I
like,
bet women
because like
are
the women
always
always
just
come
like-
in and they lie, I'm 100 pounds. You're like,
It's like, lady,
150.
I've seen
You
like
got 4
three-
chins.
Yeah.
I've seen like 3 separate 100 pounds.
Yeah.
They all look different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Oh, right,
Listen, man,
right.
you go on a date. How tall are you? 6 feet. Come on, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Rounding up. Rounding up.
But you should do it.
but now they have those high heels for guys. You've seen those, right?
Oh yeah, those shoes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Contour
yeah.
or whatever.
That's,
I don't know what they're called.
There's a knee
Or
surgery,
surgery.
stuff too. Knee surgery stuff
BBL
too.
knees.
dude,
Well,
the-
the leg surgery stuff is messed up. They break your legs and then pull
Yeah.
them apart, but they sell shoes that have inserts, so it makes you 2.5 inches taller.
Yeah, I've
like
seen those.
the
That's great.
Okay.
surgery thing is depressing.
So
Like,
this
just
is
to think about
this
like
is a Tim Pool exclusive. Just so you guys know, they also asked a question. What's your height? And with these shoes, I'm 6 feet.
Oh, what
These are Alexander McQueen's.
But those are just like normal shoes with a thick sole.
But they have a huge platform, bottom.
But they're, I would say those are as close as you can get without being platforms.
Yeah.
Like it's a thick sole. It probably gives you an inch or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they have these. They have those shoes with those things. Or you buy those
They better
plastic
pay you
things.
for saying that.
Shout out, you're right.
It does.
Dudes just need to like learn to accept it. Like they said like you can get like 4 inches of height out of that surgery or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm 5'5". I'm super short. I'm like, imagine the embarrassment of like paying all that money just to be
5'7"?
the height of the average American male.
Yeah.
Like just find something else that works for you and,
Yeah.
and lean
That's
into
crazy
it.
though, man. That people are doing this kind of stuff. All this weird.
It's the male BBL.
Well,
But again,
but it's
social media influence, man.
transhumanism.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Pretty much.
So this is, instead of going the route of dating, we'll go the route of transhumanism on the conversation. So
Yeah.
like, we can talk about guys wanting to hook up, not doing anything to do it, and women getting surgery, but there's also people want to be things they're not. Guys want to be tall, but they're not tall. They want to be more desirable. Or some people want to be a carrot. Some people want to be a kangaroo. Some people, they're like, there was that tiger man. I'm not
Fresh
kidding.
identifies as a lawnmower.
Yeah.
on
right.
our
No,
show
the-
sometimes.
Honestly, bro, like I like it. I love grass.
Multiple people
See?
who get
That's allowed.
who get the super realistic dog costumes and then go walk around the park.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, there's that one guy doing that.
there's two of them. There's a guy who did it as a wolf and a guy who did it as a border collie.
Clown
Future's
world.
going to be weird, dude.
It's
We
clown
got
world, bro.
we got one of those VR things where it's a treadmill. We haven't set it up yet. We just got it. You strap yourself in, and there's this bowl you stand on.
Mm-hmm.
You put on your VR headset, and when you try to run, the harness holds you in place, and your feet cause you in VR to move. So you can actually move around 360 degrees and run while in VR on this treadmill thing.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to strap themselves into this the moment it becomes cheap enough for the average household, and they're not going to go in the real world anymore.
Actually, we had a guy on the show that spoke about VR OnlyFans, where basically you go into this world and any girl you want to think of. could
AI
be-
generated.
Yes. But the only thing is, though, you can create your avatar, create the girl, perfect girl for you, and there's actually items you can use to have that same feeling in the real world. So you can
Damn.
do your thing with the OnlyFans girl in a room.
It's going to be so creepy.
Girls
dude.
about to be lonely.
Metaverse, basically. You
Even
can pay
more so.
for it. Crazy.
Oh, I'm saying OnlyFans is going to go out of business
Yeah.
because guys, like, it's going to be a bunch of dudes AI generating porn for other dudes
Yeah.
or for themselves.
Yep.
Wow.
And they're going to be able to get
That's
the
also
attention and everything that they
transhumanism.
want.
The future is going to be gross.
It's going to be strange.
Yo, having
Hey,
kids,
but you
bro.
know what? If they let the Transformers into WNBA, then we might actually watch the WNBA. They'll be able to dunk and stuff. We'll be
Okay.
like, oh, okay, I'll watch the WNBA
Name
game now.
2 WNBA women. Players.
Brittany
Bro.
Griner.
Okay, one more.
I wouldn't even got that one.
That's a freebie. That's a freebie. One more.
The worst trade is
Nobody knows, bro.
That's like-
The Casey Plummer, what's her name?
Yes.
Las Vegas.
But
Yeah.
hold on,
Yeah,
and one
yeah.
more because Brittany Griner is the free space. You get, it's like name 2 WNBA stars outside of Brittany Griner.
Oh,
Cool. Yeah. One more.
Yeah, because everyone knows her for the
That's
worst
a free-
trade
The
only-
of
the
all
only reason
time.
She went to jail.
People know that
Yeah.
one is because she's the lady who threw the shirts to like the top level of the stadium, so they made a big deal about it because she threw like basically the equivalent of like an average NFL player's
and
pass.
we traded her
Yeah.
for the Merchant of Death, Victor
So,
Bout, who we spent a ridiculous amount of money to prosecute.
Yeah.
Made
for
the
selling
money.
All right,
weapons.
I know one. Sarah Harrison. See, there you go. I got 2.
Well, you searched that just
looked
now.
it up.
Search it up.
Tim is cheating.
No.
Tim is cheating.
I did not.
Cheating.
I did not look that up. I made the name up, knowing you guys wouldn't know.
Have you seen the video?
Ah, clever, Tim.
Have you seen the
You
video
don't
where
know
like
any WNBA players either.
the guys go around and he goes, I will give you $1 or 2 tickets to a WNBA game, and everybody takes the dollar.
Yo, man. I mean, bro, I know I sound like a jerk, but I mean, female sports, like, who cares?
They don't.
Like, bro,
Who watches female sports?
And they're being
MMA
funded
is
by the
fun.
men's
UFC,
sport.
MMA, women's MMA. I watch it. It's good. It's good.
I mean,
But-
I could give you that, but it's like all other female sports is like, who's there? Like, happy dads and parents.
Dude.
Like, yeah, go ahead. And here's the
I'm-
thing. I'm all for female sports because I think it's good that it keeps women away from doing bad things in their adolescent years, right? And if I have a daughter, God forbid, I'm going to put her in sports, right? But like professional female sports, bro, nobody cares. Like this crazy purple-haired chick, what's her name? That wants equal
Rapinoe.
pay. Whatever
Rapinoe.
her name is.
Yeah.
She doesn't want equal pay. She wants a renegotiated contract because they negotiated their contract in the first place. So apparently they're like 2 pay structures: more money up front, less bonus, or less money up front, more bonus. And they negotiated a contract that chose one over the other, which meant that they got paid less in the short term than the men. And they were like, "Hey, look, they're getting paid more than us." It's a smart move. It's good business. I'm more power to them. Here you go. Brittany Griner's a given. She's 6'9", dude. She's tall. Sue Bird.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Wait,
I feel like
She's
I
like
feel
the
like
most
people know that
famous
name,
one, right?
Yeah.
Sue Bird is like the most famous one.
She's
I
like
still
an
couldn't.
OG.
I still couldn't remember it.
I know,
but
I
I know
know.
that that's a person.
Yeah,
I should have
right?
said Diana
Super.
Taurasi because
Della-
I'm from Connecticut and she played for UConn. So I
Della
remember her.
Don's good. I've heard of her before, but I couldn't.
Elena Della Don.
Not off the top of my head though. That's the tricky
You know what's crazy
part.
though? Like a good high school men's basketball team can probably beat a WNBA team.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Like they can probably beat.
well, like
them, so.
like what 15-year-olds beat the women's soccer team.
Yeah, the national
like-
team. Like dude.
I just want to be honest though. Like the thing about basketball I don't like, there are a lot of really, really good players, like Steph Curry, genuine, legitimate, top tier talent, one of the best of the best.
Legend.
Legendary. I watched a video and it said when you're so good, you can tell when the floor is broken, and he's dribbling and then he stops and he looks and he points at the floor and he just knows because he understands so well. I'm like, it's amazing. But there
Oh,
are
yeah, I
players.
saw that video, yeah.
Right. There are players who are just tall. It's like you're on the team because you're 7'3". All that matters.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yao Ming was good too, but he's an example.
But of course-
7'6".
Right. You're going to be good to a certain degree, but like if you weren't 7'6", would you be NBA level?
No, probably not.
Right. Muggsy Bogues was one of the best because he was what, 5'3"?
He was somewhere between 5'5" to 5'8". Someone could fact check me on that, please.
I thought he
But,
was
yeah.
shorter than that.
I thought he was 5'3".
Yeah.
Let's see.
Because I remember, like somebody said, like I figured he was
5'3", dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
I always
Damn.
figured he
You're
was
right.
like
Yeah.
they were saying he's short. I was like, yeah, short for the NBA would mean like 5'8", right? But
Yeah.
5'3" is
No,
insane.
And
Yeah, that
and
is small.
as good as he
Holy
was, this man, his story to me was like when I was younger and was told about a guy who was 5'3" but he could 360 dunk. I'm like, that shows you hard work pays
Yeah.
off.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
be the best. Cool dude, man.
Absolutely.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, inspiration. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. We're talking about Elon, but now we're talking about basketball.
The chat is going crazy
Oh, yeah, and how-
because
how
no one
female
talks about
sports
women's
suck.
volley. Well, no one talked about women's volleyball, so
Oh.
the chat
Okay.
is roasting the whole show right now because women's volleyball is awesome,
Oh, okay.
and no one
All right,
brought
fair
it
enough,
up.
fair enough.
So,
I mean,
Why-
it's
but why-
Name 2 players.
for volleyball,
Yeah, chat. Name 2
Yeah,
players.
name 2 players,
Without
chat.
looking it up, chat.
Listen,
Look
man.
it up.
List this long.
Yeah, they don't care
Listen,
about the female
we know
players.
what-
They want to
I'm-
look at some cheeks.
my
and
Yeah,
fan-
yeah, that's why they go into the
Yeah.
games.
My
That's why.
fantasy volleyball league is elite.
say.
My fantasy volleyball league is elite. My fantasy volleyball team.
How much do you
Fair
think
enough.
they get paid to play on the women's volleyball team? Let me look it up.
You know that
Less than OnlyFans girls.
the Denver
Yeah, less than OnlyFans chicks.
Sell
Porn
your
stars.
feet.
Yo,
Make more money.
listen. It says the average salary of a professional female volleyball player in the U.S. is between $35,000 and $60,000 a year.
Wow.
That's low.
And they train
Dude.
a lot.
You could be a manager at a Giordano's in Chicago and probably make more than that.
You could be a UPS driver. Maybe more than that.
170K a year.
You
Sorry,
can be
no.
a bottle girl in Miami walking around in your underwear, go woo, and make more than that, dude.
The mascots in the NBA make more than the WNBA players.
Is that true?
The
Yeah, 'cause they're actually
the
entertaining.
Denver Nuggets mascot
Yeah.
is like makes like $600,000 a year.
The
Wow.
average salary among 151 WA athletes was $100K in 2022.
Okay.
And the minimum is $62,000, and the top paid players earn about $234,000.
Well, here's the thing. Like, they should be. I mean, I don't want to sound like a jerk. Controversial take. Doesn't represent anyone here on the panel except for maybe myself, Myron Gaines. But what I'm going to say is this: they can't get mad that they get paid. They should be happy they're even getting 6 figures because the WNBA is negative every single year.
It's
subsidized
subsidized,
by the NBA. Could you imagine if we had a men-only league that was negative and they were being paid by the opposite gender? No, it would never exist.
But there's no such thing as a men's only sports league.
Yeah, I know.
I think only in colleges.
Yeah.
In NBA, women are allowed. There's no rule barring women from entering.
Yes.
Because there doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
There have been women who've tried out to be punters or kickers,
yeah.
in, the,
Kickers.
in the NFL.
Yeah, and here's the thing: women could compete in male sports as well, at the professional level and at the collegiate level. And the thing is that, and this is because I was a Division I athlete, and I remember this. Like with female sports, with colleges, right? If you look at any big school that has like a good football team, good basketball team, etc., go on their website. You're going to see only a few male sports. Then go look at the women's side. They have a bunch of female sports. Why? Because I think it's Title IX or Title 27. That basically all the money that's allotted to male sports has to also be allotted to female sports at Division I or Division II level.
Equity.
So they end up having random fencing, equestrian, all this crazy stuff, and you're like, what the hell? So Yeah, I mean, female sports are absolutely funded at the same level, especially at the collegiate level. But yeah, dude, like no one cares about female sports because it sucks. No offense.
Well, also, I mean, the thing is like they say that the women don't support it, right?
Yeah.
Men come out
Women
to
don't
support.
even go to WNBA
yeah,
games.
men come out to support men's sports, and so do women because everyone likes watching people who are at the top of their field do something amazing. We love to watch somebody succeed. Female sports, it's like if the women came out and supported it, it could do fine, but they don't.
And
because
it's amazing to me how we put ourselves in compromising situations in the name of equality. I'll explain what I mean by this. So, like, right, we'll have the WNBA, right, for equality, but it's negative, doesn't make any money. No one really watches it. No one really supports it like that. But we have it because equality in feelings. I mean, my thing too, I don't think women should be in combat positions in the military. Like, why should we weaken our army by putting people, or our military, by putting women in that don't necessarily have the same physical capability as men, because you're only as strong as your weakest component. So I'm not saying women can't join the military, but I'm saying in combat positions, etc. This is why for the longest time women couldn't join infantry, because it compromises the integrity of the entire unit, because women just don't have the same physical capability. I'd be pissed if I went ahead and I signed up and I got a female in my unit and I get hurt and she can't drag me to safety.
Well, somebody also explained to me, they said that like a lot of it is like because of the way men are wired, like if a woman gets hurt in combat,
That too.
it affects their ability to be to stay focused.
Yes, that, and then also, what if they're taken as a prisoner of war?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to now be a political thing done where they're going to, do certain things to try to show, look at us doing this to America. So it's just the L all around to have women in positions
irks
of
me, though?
combat.
But I'll
when
tell
I'm
you,
in a Call of Duty room and I'm with the boys and a girl joins, bro, I'm like, why are you here? We're about to lose right now.
I'll tell you a story when I did hostile environment awareness training. They call it heat training, which is redundant because it's training if it's heat. But we did a scenario where what they do is they bring you in and they say, we're going to give you a series of scenarios. You are journalists in a foreign country in active conflict, and we're going to do normal jobs and present you with security risks. And it was really fun. One of them, the first one was like, you're going to a local market to have coffee. And then while you're there, one of the people that's with you, because we don't know anybody. Mm-hmm. So they say, hey, here are the people that are on your team, which is typical in like a newsroom. Like, here are the guys that are going with you. Mm-hmm. While you're sitting there, they will take one of the people in your crew and they're gone. And then they'll wait 5 minutes and come to you and say, all right, let's go. Wait, where's John? And then I don't know. And they'll be like, John's gone. John, where are you? And they'll be like, how did you guys lose him? Where'd he go? To simulate someone getting kidnapped for market or something like that. That's the kind of thing they do. We did a scenario where they said, we're going to go meet with a journalist. We got 2 cars. We're bringing the full crew. They were driving down the road when a bunch of guys with guns come out of the bushes, stop the vehicles. It's all training. It's all simulation.
Yeah, of course.
And then they say, screaming, they fire blanks, like everyone out of the cars, make us lay down. This is part of hostile environment training if you want to get this done. And then they brought all the women into a barn, and then the women started screaming, and then the guys doing the training started laughing, saying they were raping the women in the barn. And then, like, you lay on the ground with guns pointed at you while you hear the women screaming.
Yeah.
What's really happening is they brought the women and said, okay, everyone start screaming.
Yeah.
And so the women are just laughing and then outside the men are told to listen to the women being raped.
Oh, man.
And then when we go back, they're like, this is the kind of thing that will happen when you are working with female colleagues. And then the funny thing is, because of like labor laws in the United States, somebody said, yeah, but like, what about men? It's like there was some weird question of sexism, and he goes, well, they could rape the men too. Maybe they'll take. And I'm like,
Bruh.
oh, come on.
Here's
bro.
the thing that feminists don't want to understand, and here's the uncomfortable truth. Sexism inherently benefits women.
Yep.
Like, sexism literally creates 2 different standards because women can't compete in most of them. And people get mad at me for saying this, like, you're a misogynist, you're a jerk. No, I'm just a guy that understands biological differences, and I think we need to keep women protected in a way from danger. I don't think women should be in combat positions in the military. I don't think they should be in law enforcement on the field. I can't tell you how many situations I've seen where women are in combat situations on the street with a male perpetrator, and they get overpowered.
Hold on.
And the guy just beats the crap out of them, and they can't even get to their weapon on time, or they can't even fight them off.
But the real issue is capability.
Yeah.
I don't think the issue is women shouldn't be allowed. It's people who can't draw their weapon fast enough, people who can't lift, people who are not strong enough. Because if you got a woman who's 6'9",
Yeah.
pure muscle and brutish, I'd rather have her over a 5'3", frail little effeminate.
I'm glad
guy.
you mentioned that. So this is what I think. And it just so happens that women can't do this, but I'm going to say, you know what? I agree with you. It should be one standard. One standard.
Yes.
Male or female, if you can accomplish the standard, fantastic. You deserve to be in. But I know, right, the male standards, right, for the military, for law enforcement, etc. Most women can't do it at all. 50 push-ups, 30 push-ups, 40 push-ups, whatever it may be. Women can't do that. So my thing is, by you watering down the standards, you effectively weaken the force in the name of equality. It's feels before reals. Unfortunately, most women are not capable of doing these manual labor jobs that involve combat and or violence, and they shouldn't either.
We talked about it earlier on the culture war. You're in a burning building on the 3rd floor, struggling to breathe. All of a sudden, you hear a door bang open, and you look up, and there's a 5-foot tall, 100-pound woman carrying
Be pissed.
gear. I mean, you'd be like, "Help me!" Like, what? But if it was, I would.
Brittany Griner comes in at 6'9".
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and picks you up with one hand. You're like, what did you say? Cradle me. So it's like that's the point. It's not about male or female.
Yeah.
Like the joke I make is like, dude, if I'm in a burning building, and then the door bursts open, and it's a 6'5" chiseled, manly man, glistening with sweat, and he smiles as, "I'm here to save you, babe." Cradle me, like save me, dude. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's no pretense. I'm gonna burn to death.
Yeah.
And if it's Brittany Griner, I'd say the same thing. Like, if you can save me, save me.
Yeah.
It's just that the idea that they've lowered the standards for fire departments and for police and for things like this. We shouldn't lower the standards at all.
Yeah.
Just
It should be
keep them the same. Anybody can come.
One standard.
Like feminists like to cry like sexism and all this other stuff. Sexism benefits women because it creates a second standard for them to be able to compete. If we weren't being sexist, we would have one standard and we would be like, okay, ladies, go ahead and compete with the men, but they'd never be able to get in.
They'd be like, if you want to play basketball, join the NBA. And it's like, there's no woman tall enough, fast enough. I mean, I do think it's curious. I wonder how Brittany Griner would do. She's 6'9". How would she do on average in the NBA?
Not well.
She wouldn't even make it. Like there's high school boys that would absolutely like smoke her.
There you go.
It's incredible. Like people don't realize like how good you have to be to be in the NBA. A guy at the end of the bench that barely made the team is smoking 99% of people in the world. Like you are literally the best of the best. Like a Division I basketball player can go ahead and show up and smoke anybody. Like especially with basketball at an international level, like these guys are really good. So
Brittany Griner needs to go join the fire department. Then is what you're saying.
I'm not saying that.
she probably can't even pass the physical test and drag a 200-pound person.
I think it's a 150-pound bag.
Is that what it is?
I could be wrong, but my understanding is they have you go up to a second floor, then you throw a 150-pound bag over your shoulder and have to run down.
Oh yeah, most women can't do that.
But that's gone. I mean, that's heavier than the average woman.
Yeah.
I think the average woman is like 120 or something.
170.
Yeah,
Chicks are
170.
fat
once-
nowadays.
Yeah, it went up, bro.
The average
It went up,
female's
bro. It went up,
170
bro.
pounds.
Check it right now.
The average black woman's 187 pounds, bro. Like these women are huge, and there are more fat women than fat dudes, by the way. FYI.
Shout out to all my black queens.
Yeah,
170.8 pounds.
dude,
bro.
ridiculous.
5'4"?
Yeah. These chicks are whales, man. It's getting crazy out here.
Man, the harpoons.
Man, the harpoons.
You guys
The
ever
average man is
And it's crazy.
197?
Dude, like it's crazy because it's like as a female, like, dude, you have one job, just like be attractive.
Dude,
don't be annoying.
America,
Get a guy.
America, please. The average American man, 20 years old, weighs 197.9 pounds with a 40-inch waist circumference
Fat.
at 5'9".
Yeah.
Wow.
Yo.
So today,
Hold on, I just want to imagine. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead,
I want
go
to
ahead.
imagine
Go ahead.
this dude is jacked. He's got so much muscle that he's got 40 inches of pure muscle at 5'9". No, that is just fat.
Yeah, we're just fat as hell in America.
Yeah.
And I will say this: I realize how fat we are when I leave Miami because Miami is a pretty fit city. But once I leave, I'm like, wow, we really are fat, and there's even more fat women.
so today I went for a walk to the Weiss supermarket, whatever. I think that's like a supermarket.
Weiss.
Weiss. And I was alarmed to see how many people were fat. Literally, just fat.
Yeah, dude, it's
Shopping
crazy.
for fruits and
It's
veggies.
crazy because Miami's
Incredible.
kind of like pseudo
Our food's
South
poison,
America
dude.
and stuff. But like you leave like South Florida, you leave like somewhere else, you're like, oh wow, there's a lot of fat.
I think our food's poison.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because what I hear from everybody is, oh, when I was in insert country, I was eating the same amount of food and I lost weight. When I came to America, I just gained weight like
Bro,
crazy.
I
Yeah.
came here 7 years ago. I was skinny as a stick. Dude, I started eating American food. I got fat. I'm like, what's going on with me? I go back to Barbados, skinny. It's like when you
That's
eat
exactly
food
it.
here, it's like, I don't know it's hormones or what, but it's really fattening.
Yeah,
I don't know
everyone
what it
did
is.
tell me that comes here foreign or used to live here and then they leave and then they lose weight. Yeah, I agree with you because when I go to other places, I lose weight and I'm here.
Poison.
We were in Colombia. We ate hella food. I felt good. I didn't feel bloated at all.
But were you eating like rice and chicken, or were you eating cheeseburgers?
I
and
ate
French
burgers,
fries?
No.
rice. He ate rice and chicken.
No, yeah, I eat healthy all the time.
I wouldn't be surprised, like, if you were to go down to Central America and have burgers and fries and lose weight, because it's the oil we use too.
Yeah.
So right now a big thing everyone's freaking out about is seed oils. I don't know about all that, I do know that someone posted this article where canola oil, which we use for cooking, used to be used for like engine lubricant.
What?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of food that we have here in the United States that's like banned in Europe and other places. And another thing too is like our portion sizing is ridiculous. And to be 1,000, we absolutely encourage people to be fat in the United States. We don't. We need to go back to body fat shaming. I think we need to make fun of fat people. We need to bring it back. We need to make fun of fat people.
Well, to be fair, if Lizzo can do it, why can't we do it?
Yeah.
Dude, if I was prime minister, if I was president of the United States, I'd have fat people
Lizzo,
in shape in 30 days.
The
99% taxation.
The gag is to tell people, to compliment women that they look like Lizzo. But
Stunning and brave.
We did that on the show, actually.
Yeah.
And they get offended. They get angry.
We asked them, would you prefer to be Lizzo or
No, be complimented that you're beautiful like Lizzo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they all kind of scorned about it. Like, I don't
They'll
know.
get angry. They'll be like, hey.
Even though they sit there and say fat is beautiful. I think genuinely, so here's the thing that I've noticed about females when they compliment each other. They don't really mean anything they say to each other.
Yeah.
It's all to sabotage. Oh, no, it's okay. You be a whore. Oh, no, it's okay. Be fat. No, exercise your sexual liberation. They do that, right? Because, I don't have to compete with this chick no more. Yeah, be a loser. Be a loser. Women give each other self-destructive advice all the time.
Well,
Every single time. Girls in a happy relationship with a guy. Oh, you should leave him. What are you doing? Why are you cooking for him? Why are you cleaning for him? Are you a slave? Come on, girl. What's wrong with you? And it literally perpetuates why so many women stay single. There's nothing worse than having a girlfriend and she hangs out with her single friends. They're going to poison her.
There's this like trope that I've heard from people in the military. There's like a story where when women start basic training, they're all friends and they all get along. And then by the end of it, they all hate each other.
Yeah.
When men start basic training, they're all arguing and fighting. And by the end, they're all working together.
Yeah.
That like the social dynamics are inverted.
Yeah. Men bond over like a shared goal.
Well, so
versus women aren't like that.
So my understanding was what men are actually doing is figuring out who's the most capable to lead.
Oh,
and
that
so
too, yeah.
the head butting and chest bumping is like roosters being like, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. And then after the trials and tribulations, the men figure out who actually is the best and then align themselves based on that perceived hierarchy.
Right.
Whereas women are in constant competition with each other for the best men.
Yep.
So by the end of it, they're all like, I got to sabotage.
Well, this is why people get mad at me for saying this, but this is why you need male leadership. Like women aren't capable of leading anything in a relationship except the end of it. So it's like, God, you need that male leadership and that male instruction. You know, a woman without instructions headed for destruction. And this is a jerk. But if you look at it, look at the things that like women are attracted to in men. They're all inherently centered around leadership, dominance, strength, perseverance, capability, competence, etc. It's all survival traits that women look for in men. Men don't look for any of these things in women. We don't care about how much money a woman makes, her success, or her income, or any of that stuff, because women look for that. Men look for replication value. Women look for survival value. You want young and hot. They want capable, strong, etc.
Makes sense.
Look at the bad boy. He kind of like shows leadership. He shows strong. He shows a guy that can actually fight. And even though he's not the best option, pretty much, the bad boy shows those traits. So you're right.
And here's the other thing, too, with men. Like, men naturally fall in a hierarchy of dominance and success and competence because there's always that threat of violence, right? Because men are willing to fight, right, to express themselves to a degree, right? And then and they just kind of fall in line. With women, it doesn't really operate that way. They did I'll never forget this, Survivor, right? They put the men and the women and pitted them against each other.
2 different islands.
Right, 2 different islands. Dude, the women were like arguing about if they were going to hunt and kill the animal. They couldn't make fire. They couldn't make shelter, etc.
Bro, it's worse
What
than
ended up
that.
happening, so check this out. Very interesting. I forget what season it was, but someone in the chat's probably going to put it. So the guys, they end up building fire. They end up building a home and everything
Tiki
like that.
bar.
Right? They build everything up and they're good, right? They're hunting and they got their stuff going, right? So the women figure out, okay, we don't know what we're doing. We're living like we're terrible, right? So the chicks go over to the lower status males in that group and tell them, hey, listen, could we get some of your resources, blah, blah, blah. And they finesse them. And the guys, right, the simps that they are, go ahead and give some of the resources, right? And that causes turmoil with the other guys. So the women knew if we go to the weaker guys, right, the beta males, I hate to use those terms, but we go to those guys, we can manipulate them and get some of their resources. That caused a bunch of infighting with the guys. This is what happens when female influence comes in.
There's a better
and
one.
men aren't strong.
There was another show where they put men and women on 2 different islands, and the women were crying, lost, super upset. They and the feminists argue that the show is staged to insult women because it's hilarious and it goes viral. But there was like one where the women are like, we need to find water, so we're gonna go search for water. We'll be back, and they started walking in circles. And then once they walked past the same icon, this woman broke down, started crying, being like, how does this happen? Like, how are we lost? It's It's like someone who's never walked in the forest doesn't realize how easy it is to get lost because you don't realize when you turn. If like you're walking through the trees aren't a straight path.
Yeah.
So like I recently walked around an island and the path you're walking on feels straight.
Yeah.
And then you walk like 2 miles and you're like, we just walked in a big circle. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's slightly curved, but it's
Yep.
so big you don't know you're going in a big circle.
And men have far more. They know that like this is scientifically proven. Men have more spatial awareness than women. This is why
Right.
men are better with directions and being
packing
able
the
to
trunk.
manipulate the world. And that's why we're better at building things. And it's not to say that men are better than women, but we're just better at certain
It's
things
different.
that tend to deal with
Yeah.
infrastructure. So it's like it's very interesting how. And I've said this before. Guys get so mad. Not guys, but like people get mad at me for saying this. But men need to understand that women are hardwired to extract resources from men. Like that's what they're hardwired to do. When it comes to true, raw survival, etc., that's what women do. They use their beauty to extract resources from men, and it's on you to make sure you don't get finessed.
We're gonna go to super chats, so smash that like button, subscribe to
nice.
this
Let's
channel,
do it.
share the show with your friends, become a member at timcast.com to support our work directly, and pick up your tickets to the Miami event on sale now. Patrick Bet David, Donald Trump Jr., and Matt Gaetz, Luke Rukowski, me. We're going to be doing the show on stage live, and we're also going to have like audience Q&A and stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Rain Gutter Corey says, Trump pulled off blue steel better than Zoolander himself. That was blue steel, wasn't it?
And they spelled it STEAL, like steal the election.
Nope, just regular steel, but it would have been funny.
No, people posted that at the bottom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Blue steel?
Yeah.
Amazing. Lemec says, Tim, our band Lemec has just released our latest track, Higher Ground. Are you still offering grants for those contributing to culture creation? If so, we would greatly appreciate you giving us a listen. We'll definitely check you out. Let me write it down.
That's nice.
There
I
we
like
go.
that bullet pen.
It's cool. It looks like a 50 BMG.
Yeah.
So take a look at this pen. It looks like a bullet, but it's a pen.
Wow.
Oh, we got a couple of them, actually. They're really cool.
I'm stealing one.
Anthony Sanford says, in solemnity of Trump's mugshot, we should all change our profile pictures to that beautiful orange scowl.
It's happening right now.
It is happening. A lot of people
Yeah.
are doing it.
Yep. Yeah. Shoe on Head
Yep.
has Trump's mugshot.
Shout out to Trump, man.
I like it. Shoe on Head posts these people always accusing her of being a guy. She's done it more than once.
Shoe and head's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funny. What do we got? Verkalos Al Corlin says, I have to wonder how much of the money the government sending to Ukraine is getting funneled back into the pockets of certain politicians. Oh, large portions of it, dude.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Zelensky's a criminal.
Big
Everybody
facts.
knows that. He took a bunch of money to build roads, aka he never built the roads.
Yeah. How
That's
about
one of the
that?
few things he's done, or not done in this case.
Brian Inf Edge says, look at all the hate watchers in chat. Y'all just clowns that can't stack paper to the ceiling and ride on 20-inch chrome. WFNF.
Shout out to you, man. Thank you for the
Shout
support,
out to you,
bro.
man.
We got a lot of haters, but it's okay.
KB says Trump was right. He never came back to Twitter. LOL. That's right. He's on X now.
There
It's a
you
different
go.
thing. Amos Moses says, when are you having congressional candidate Brandon Herrera, a.k.a. AK Jesus, on? In like a week or something? I don't know. I don't know when he's going.
It's coming up. I don't remember if it's next week, but
Or the week after.
it'll be soon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's coming.
Cool.
Coming. Jason Dixon says, one of our Discord members owns a business called gcwindsor.com. His product is excellent for the fresh and fit audience. His product is designed to bringing men to the next level in their fashion game. Love your work. Very cool.
Thank you for the support, bro.
That's important, man.
MB says, make the poker show legal by winners playing for charities that change the culture. Finally got our 501c3 approved to support homeschoolers Massachusetts. Would love you to play for us. That was one of the considerations, but no consistent weekly player wants to play for charity. So we want to do a poker show,
Okay.
and it's mostly table talk. Like, when we were all hanging out, talking smack and
Yeah.
joking and laughing, that's more what the show is, and poker is just what we're doing at the table.
Gotcha.
Right.
So you're just dudes being crude.
Yeah.
But
Shout out to you for teaching me how to play poker.
Yeah.
well, mostly a lot.
Yeah.
He was super excited. He loves
Yeah.
poker.
Tim,
But
just don't fold, bro.
don't fold.
Don't fold.
Sometimes you gotta fold. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
I was just kidding.
But we want to do this show, and the challenge is we need a consistent lineup of players, guests. The players, the core, like 6, maybe like 5 of the players are going to be locals who want to play a cash game. If we were like, it's all for charity, then the players are going to be like, count me out. Like, I'm not playing to just make some donation because these are not celebrities, and we can't get 8 celebrities every week. The idea is just to have a handful of locals and like 1 or 2 guests, and then we're sitting on a table and we're all just smack talking and making jokes, and it's just open.
This is for kids for homeschool?
No, this is
to
Poker
raise
with
money
the
for
Boys.
kids for no, but like with the
Her
charity is for
nonprofit.
okay, but the charity is to fund so kids
She-
can have homeschool.
No, she's saying we should do various charities.
Okay.
Also, she has a charity that we could use.
Okay.
But nobody wants to play for charity.
Gotcha.
Like
What
it's a thing they do with celebrities where they'll play poker for charities,
Yeah.
and then the winning player's money goes to the charity. But no local cash player wants to do that.
Do you play online or not really?
Nah.
It's not the same, huh?
It's yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
There are people who are super hardcore like poker culture into poker, and they love online and they love live, and I'm just like, the only game I care about is playing with real people.
Gotcha.
Because I don't care about looking at a digital screen and seeing buttons click and graphics slide around. That's just boring to me.
Okay.
But in real life, you're watching people sweat. One guy's talking smack about the other guy. And
Yeah.
People are shaking.
It's a lot more
and-
fun.
But mostly, when you're hanging out at the table, people are just talking about everything.
Yeah.
It's like you go to these tables and it's really funny. My friend Robbie was out here. We're in West Virginia. We're playing at Charlestown. And this guy, Robbie, he got a mouth on him. And so he just looks at one guy and goes, "Are you a libtard?" And then he goes, "Excuse
That's
me?"
what I call them too.
And he's like, "Bro, are you a libtard?" And he's like, "I'm a liberal." And he goes, "Oh." He's like, "I didn't mean anything by it." And then everyone busts out laughing. Like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like this, but the guy, like, I guess they got along. I don't know.
Okay.
Because he's just goofing off. But like, that's funny at the table when people are acting silly. and
Men
having
being
a good
men.
time.
Yeah.
Guys
I got
being
you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's
Barbershop.
like, and it is 90% men. Sometimes there's women there. It's almost always men.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of crazy? Like, what do women do? You know what I mean?
Make sandwiches.
I don't mean that literally.
Serve drinks.
What I mean is like, guys, from our perspective, is we're always engaged in some kind of activity. You know what I mean? Like, the majority of the people who watch this show, 80% guys.
Yeah.
Skateboard, go to a skate park, almost all guys.
Yep.
Go to a poker room, almost all guys. Go to a baseball game, you know, like, skews more heavily towards men.
if we're gonna be
Movies,
honest,
men.
dude, men absolutely dominate all human. Men are the best at most human endeavors, and women are mediocre at most human endeavors. And the reality is that most women don't have hobbies. Being honest, there's some exceptional women that like are great at certain things, but most girls would rather just hang out and go to the mall and watch drama TV.
I mean, we asked them on the show, what are your hobbies?
And they don't have any.
Beach. Well,
Hanging out with
Sephora.
friends.
That
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that even
Like,
mean?
yeah, dude. Like most girls, like honestly, like if you actually like, this is what we've done this before.
Yeah, yeah.
Blindfold and like listen to and like you go on like a blind date. Literally, you're blind and she's talking to you, and you're just like, what the hell? What are you stupid? Like, what's going on here? Like, once you take off like their looks, like a lot of girls are just boring and don't do anything.
But those are hobbies. I mean, we as guys sitting
Yeah.
around a table, we don't want to go to the mall. We don't want to just sit and talk all day. Women enjoy
You think
those
going
things.
to mall is a hobby though?
It's a hobby. We're not going to find it fulfilling.
Well, look,
We're
like,
not going to
hold on,
find
hold on.
it cool.
Wait, hold
but-
on, hold on. If you met a chick and you said, "What do you want your hobbies?" and she goes, "I like to go out into wildlands and like forage for fruits and learn about the plants and look for seeds and plant things." Would you call that a hobby?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That is, and I'm not a scientist. I'm saying my understanding is that's the root of shopping. So like human tribal behavior was men would go hunt. So men are going out and seeking this kind of conflict, and women would forage. So the women would go together and walk around looking at trees and being like, "Oh, you know," and they'd grab the berries and they'd grab fruits and vegetables, and they would gather while the men.
Yeah, but they're actually working when they're shopping. They're just spending
But
your
no,
money.
what I'm saying is shopping is a facsimile of foraging.
But
You go there and you look around at all the things you want.
but Tim, let's be real here. The last time that happened, Adam and Eve, we saw what happened to the world, you know?
What, eating, foraging?
Yeah, she took the fruit.
But
and
she got tricked though.
she fell for it. And she tricked Adam. So now we're screwed. Man, that don't work, man.
Welcome to the misogyny podcast. I'm just kidding.
Misogyny.
All right. Marion Holtzman says, crooked lawyers, judges, and prosecutors will absolutely do or say anything to get President Trump. If nothing comes of it, at least they can say, "We tried." This is all a big fat diversion trying to get eyes off the Biden crime family.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt his reputation regardless. I agree, and they don't
Yeah.
they don't look at Biden. Yep.
These GC Windsor guys are really, really excited and want us to let you guys know they exist. Jeffrey
GC
Nuez.
Windsor, shout out to them.
Yeah, he said, "I'm GC Windsor Jeff, the Discord member with the extremely unique product that everyone has been noticing. I believe I have a story that you would love to hear through an interview if you would consider it."
Send us a DM.
Send
you go.
Freshman CEO DM.
No, I'm looking fit.
Okay. What's it? GC Windsor?
GC Windsor, yeah.
Okay.
No idea. I don't know what it is.
Just put Timcast in all caps and I'll find it.
What do we got?
It better be good, brother.
Better be good.
Oh, and
grab
for all the
another
people that are wondering, guys, I did a hair transplant. This is my real hair. It's not a toupee.
Yeah, last time he was here.
Yeah, I was bald as hell, but
no hair.
I did a hair transplant, and yeah,
I didn't even notice.
yeah, I cut like I was bald as hell last time I was here. I basically cut like a strip of my head, and then they like take out the hair follicles from that strip of your skin, and then they pluck it in the parts where you have thin hair, and now
But
I
it
got
look,
hair.
but it's like they take a little piece, but now you have a full head of hair.
Yeah, so like they cut a cut in the back of your head. I got like a scar back here, right?
Oh, wow.
And then they take that piece of skin, and there's a whole bunch of hair follicles. They take each follicle of hair and pluck it into the parts that were thin. So it's basically like a hair BBL kind of.
Yo, Tim.
So yeah, but it's my real hair, guys. It's not a toupee.
You have hair under there?
I do not have hair under the beanie.
Can I see it?
Completely. Yeah, after the show.
No. Right now? Come on,
Fresh.
No.
Come on, bro. Hair battle.
Of course not.
You know what's funny? So right now we're battling between waves, right, in our hair. You know, we're both
I've only
black.
been brushing for 2 weeks.
But right now I'm winning the battle because I'm black.
No, you're not, bro.
I'm darker.
Okay.
So I'm winning.
Yeah, he
But
doesn't
so
even.
so why do it? Why get the hair plugs?
No,
Have you
it's
considered
no hair
wearing a
plug-
beanie?
No, it's no hair plugs. It's my real hair. God damn it.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
no hair plugs.
But yeah, with the transplant. Sorry.
Why the transplant?
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, like I'm on camera, I'm getting bald because I like dealing with girls every night and debating them got annoying. Like, dude, it's more stressful dealing with these chicks than chasing after terrorists. Like, bro, I was like, what the hell? Like, you can't name 3 countries, and I'm debating with you that like men and women are biologically different. Like, what the hell is going on here? So like, yeah, I lost hair from like debating these ridiculous girls.
You know what got me, bro? When they said they could fight men. I'm like,
Oh,
why
dude.
do you want to fight a man? That makes no sense
I
to
can't
me.
tell you how many girls that come on the show. I could fight a man. I'm like, why?
It's all the movies and the television.
It's
But it
crazy.
sounds like the
Do
women
it.
you're surrounding yourself with.
No, dude,
Tim,
these chicks
come
are
on,
PhDs,
bro.
man, educated. They're
PhD,
delusional.
regular college degree. Listen, they're from Europe.
I get it, I
from
get it.
Canada. They're from America.
Yeah.
There's no saving.
I'll say this. This is what I've realized about women that are educated. They tend to be even more grounded in their delusion. Let me explain. They'll make $100,000 per year. Well, I make $100,000 per year. I deserve a man that makes $100,000 per year. No, you look like a garden gnome. You don't deserve a guy that makes that kind of money. But they think because they make that kind of money and they have a certain status or whatever that they deserve that guy. But they don't realize that men don't care about
they
money.
don't realize that they don't have any
It's not
interest
about
in it.
deserve.
Yeah, like men don't care about that.
That's it right there. There was an article from the New York Post that I read a few years ago that triggered a bunch of feminists. They all started screaming at me, and it was career women struggle to find men who make as much money as they do.
Yes.
And it was like this woman, she's 32 and she makes $50,000 a year, and she can't find a man who makes that much money. And I was like, I'll break it down for you, and I don't mean to be rude, but if there's a 32-year-old guy making $50,000 a year, he's going to be dating a 23-year-old
Yeah.
because $50,000 to a 23-year-old is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot of money to you. So like if a guy is in his 30s and has money and has access to a younger dating pool he's attracted to, why would he go for a woman his own age? I'm not saying it's right.
You're speaking too much logic, Tim. Stop.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that
Your misogyny
all
is
the data
showing.
shows it.
Your misogyny
And
is
I was
showing.
like, you know my advice to these women is they got to date a guy who's 45.
Yeah.
And then they're going to find a guy who's, but I guess their argument was they want a guy who makes as much as they do.
Yeah.
But I don't think guys want that.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
No.
It's been, yeah.
And women are now like a lot of metrics are saying like because women are graduating college at higher levels
Yeah,
right
they're
now,
earning more.
and they're out earning them,
They
which
are.
is just actually making them more miserable because
Yep.
it's shrinking their own dating pool while trying to tell them that they're happy.
Yeah.
Feminism
It's facts.
is the greatest gift to ultra high tier men.
Yeah, it
Top
is.
tier men, yeah.
Listen.
The women are told to be promiscuous, to abort their babies.
Yep.
So the men can do whatever they want. They have to do very little work. Now the women are getting the jobs, they're getting the PhDs, and they're working these office jobs. And the ultra high value man can sit back, play video games all day, and then tell the women we have 12 wives or whatever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, dude. What feminism has done is it's inadvertently given all the leverage to the top 1% of men in the sexual marketplace who are never going to commit to them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll grab some more.
Yeah, let's do it.
What do we got?
I love listening to the people.
GS059 says they never forgot that he said to protest peacefully. They just got done peacefully protesting for over a year and know what it means. That's right. Yep. So when they said mostly peaceful protest, and then they heard Donald Trump say protest peacefully, they were like, we know what he means.
Wow.
All right. Marion Holtzman says, geez, none of you are legal experts. This conversation of what ifs is totally fruitless. Thank you for the $100 super chat to let us know. But I'll read your criticism.
I mean, I think there was a very valid discussion. We talked about the statutes. We talked about what
Right.
potentially could happen. People gonna hate, bro.
Thank you
All
for
right.
Thank you for the roses.
Like, yeah, like
Shanzi says, wrong, Tim.
Thank you for roses.
They can notify by TV and newspaper if you don't have a mailing address or residence. I had to sue my wife with no contact info. Yes, but that's a special circumstance. If they know where he lives, and everyone does, legal service needs to be delivered. But to your point, yes, that would be serving a warrant and saying,
yeah, for a
you're under
criminal
arrest.
investigation is a bit different, but yeah,
And I think Trump should have been like, yeah, absolutely. That's what you should do.
yeah.
Something says Hillary was not allowed to be served because the Secret Service didn't allow it. Her lawyers said that they couldn't take it. It had to be served to her directly. Tulsi Gabbard was unable to sue Hillary for defamation. Wow.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's crazy.
Damn.
He went from crooked Hillary to crooked Biden. He talked about that in the Tucker interview too. That was funny.
Keen Speak says, what if it was safer to respond in the manner he did, where Trump is able to fly in his own accord to the station, which allows him to make a media spectacle of the legal spectacle? Just my thoughts. I think Trump's team planned it. I don't think it was just legal. I think it a PR guy.
It was fundraising.
Right.
And it was,
Yep.
he doesn't get the merch drop if he doesn't get to do it that way.
Yeah.
I bet he's going to make $50 million or some ridiculously obscene number.
Yeah. He spun it in his favor, man. They keep losing, these guys. The more they indict him, the more they talk about him in the media negatively, the more people support him. Yeah.
Ginger McIsaac says, now that Trump now has a mugshot, he would be more relatable to someone disadvantaged.
Yep.
Don't those people tend to vote blue? Sounds like a possible dilemma to me.
You know what's funny? By them taking that mugshot, which is, Atlanta's, mostly African American, they've basically, they've galvanized African American community because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, yo, especially the hip hop community. Like, I saw a couple people on Instagram right now.
We
like,
saw
I'll vote for him
rappers.
now. My president went to jail. I'll vote for him now.
One of the most legendary rappers I know today, Chief Keef, posted Trump, his mugshot.
Nice.
I can relate, homie.
Hey,
Real talk. That's crazy.
Bro, this
Trump-
is going to backfire.
They were like, we're going to arrest Trump. And then Trump's political advisor is like, you are going to skyrocket with black males in the voting. Like, if you do this. And he was like, let's go.
Yeah. So it's literally like backfiring on them.
Hold on. We're laughing about it, but I think you guys are right.
Yeah.
Because on his website, he talks about how the jail is bad, how the conditions are awful and how it's horrible, how they treat people. I wonder if they were like, hey, let's turn this into target people who feel disenfranchised or have been to jail. Use this to your advantage.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that used to be a demographic that would never vote for him because he was so pro law enforcement, etc. So now, and it's funny because Democrats always try to appeal to the African American community, like, we're going to give you guys more, we're going to help you guys out more, blah blah blah, but they never do. So this is actually them shooting themselves in the foot because now they've effectively made their opposition have an image of sympathizing with the very market that they try to market to the most to get their votes.
They made a white man relatable to the black man.
There you go.
Literally.
He can
Bam.
also point to the First Step Act and the work they did there with within the community as far as people who'd been jailed for.
But that's like a hard policy question you have to know about.
Yeah.
Trump getting arrested and then being like,
That's out
that
there.
jail was whack. They're going to be like, yeah.
You got rappers that never supporting him now.
Hey,
Which
yeah.
is crazy
Hey,
to me, bro.
that have a huge platform.
You want
Yeah.
to know what's messed up? Out of the 19 defendants, only one was remanded without bond. Only one.
Who?
Only one.
Who?
What do you think his race was?
Black?
Black. The only Trump defense. No, I'm sorry. That's that. Yeah. The only one. My understanding. The only one was remanded. Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, so the one that he was remanded without bond, director for Black Voices for Trump. I can't remember his name.
Only one remanded. To be fair, though, I think there might maybe one or two other black defendants who were not remanded. But I do think it's funny that the only one who does end up getting remanded.
my God.
I'm like, they're racist.
To their own kind.
This is like those scary movies where the black person dies first, right?
Oh yeah.
Pretty much. That's wild, man.
Let's grab some more. Deezus says, got my cast brew coffee and Ripperverse comic today. Thank you, Tim and Eric. Best day in a while.
Awesome.
Yes, Tim and Eric. How very great. No? You get it. Tim and Eric? You don't know what Tim and Eric is? You're not familiar with Tim and Eric? Oh, wow. You guys don't know what Tim and Eric is?
No.
Is that you? Somebody else?
No. Well, yes, they're referring to me and Eric July, but Tim and Eric was a show on Adult Swim.
Oh.
Okay. No, I
Never seen it.
don't remember.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I've never seen it.
There you go. Cultural relevance out the window. Sean Lewis, the really good post says, Trump, quote, I will surrender, paying the full $200,000 if Georgia donates all of the money to help the Hawaii fire victims. Otherwise, serve the warrant and come get me.
After the conversation we just had, I understand why he surrendered now, because the rich elite getting pulled out of his house by cops is not going to look good, especially
Right.
for lower class kind of people.
Yeah.
So that's why he surrendered.
Yeah.
Image.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, the optics, like they already have him as an insurrectionist. So it's like by him saying, I'm not coming, blah, 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 they can go ahead and say, see, we told you about January 6th. This guy doesn't love, he's trying to overthrow the government. He doesn't even follow the law.
A peaceful surrender.
That's what they would say.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, it's an optics situation, man. Because it's crazy how they've spun January 6th to make him look like he's an insurrectionist when he literally said protest peacefully. But they always tend to forget that.
I think if I was going to put this in words that was going to be more relatable, Trump is now my wigger. Just saying, bro.
Oh, man.
There you go. Chad Conego says, the Earth is a donut. The moon is the donut hole. That proves it, dude. That proves it.
Yep.
Interesting.
Raymond Magnuson says, correct me if I'm wrong, if Trump is acquitted in the false alternate electors charge, could this give the Democrats precedence to use alternate electors themselves at the discretion of Kamala Harris? It's really interesting. Alternate electors are not illegal. They've been done before. In 1961, Richard Nixon, as vice president, rejected the certified Republican electors in favor of the uncertified Democrat electors by personal choice, because the vice president can do that. That's the precedent by which Donald Trump was like, I'll do the same thing. And they said, nope, you can't. It's illegal, which is just not true. It may be illegal now because you changed the law, but the vice president always had the authority to reject votes.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of the vice president. They say it's ceremonial. No, it's literally not. It's the vice president.
Thomas Jefferson did it too, if I'm not mistaken.
Rejected electors?
I think so.
I don't know about that. I know in 1876, I think it
Trump
was.
alluded to it in his interview with Tucker.
1876, the end of Reconstruction. They didn't know which electors to count. There was a civil war was on the verge of breaking out again, and they said, okay, let's compromise and just figure out who's going to be president. And so the agreement was, okay, you can be president, but Reconstruction is over.
This is a case of they can do it, but I can't do it.
Yep.
Pretty much.
That's exactly it.
Sad.
Reminds me of us.
Oh, yeah, bro. We can relate. My wigger, man. My
We
wigger.
could definitely relate.
Yeah, Trump.
We do
relate,
certain
bro.
things and we get penalized for it, man. But other people do
Yeah.
it.
Cellular says men's gymnastics is subsidized by USA Gymnastics, which is primarily funded by the women. Although it's bad because Title IX decimated men's NCAA, which negatively affected our Olympic performance.
There we go. Title IX. That's what. Yeah.
That is one thing. I think gymnastics. I'm not super familiar with it, but it sounds like that one's where it's just mostly heavily female. I can tell you that when I was a kid, all of the gymnastics programs in my area of Chicago didn't allow boys. It was only for girls.
Well,
So-
yeah, they get more funding too.
But why is gymnastics only for girls?
I mean,
Like
Well,
guys
there-
could do backflips.
Yeah, no, it's for men too, but it's just not as highlighted because it's
Yeah.
not as funded. Like I can give you an example. Like men's rowing, right? I rowed Division I at Northeastern University. Like even though we were a better team, right, and we ranked higher than the women's team because the women's team absolutely sucked. They got way more funding because of Title IX because it was.
Oh, I
'cause-
see.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's what ends up happening a lot of times.
David Toronto says women's tennis is legit, at least in the money-making department. But the best pro woman couldn't beat a D1 man, not even close.
Yeah, I mean Serena Williams would lose. I mean,
She did lose.
I think she lost an exhibition game to like
Right.
a hungover dude ranked like
That's the
200.
story.
Yeah,
That they said they could beat any man ranked 200, and he was like, okay, I'll do it. And then he showed up smoking and drinking and won.
W Mans.
I mean, I read that on the internet. I don't know if it's true.
No, it's true. She got
Yeah.
smoked, man. It's yeah, dude. I mean, I say this on a podcast all the time, and girls get mad at me. I say, women are physically inferior to men. That's so messed up. And it's like, no, it's the truth. Like, and even in other endeavors, right? You look at video games, you look at chess, you look at Formula One driving, you look at things that aren't even necessarily physical, but maybe just a reactionary time. Men dominate that too.
We love women, by the way.
Yeah. We just acknowledge the differences between us, and I think women need to be put in positions where they have more advantages, like the kitchen.
All right. Costly Gold says canola was originally a trademark name of the Rapeseed Association of Canada. The name was a condensation of can from Canada and ola, meaning oil, low acid. Really? I thought that was it's like it comes from is that what it is? Rapeseed? Is that what it is? I didn't know that. I had no idea what it was. All I know is I always just see the thing that says canola oil on it, and it's got like a weird plant, and I'm like, I don't know, it's food. But I don't use it. I like using butter for basically everything now.
Yeah.
Just if I'm going to use oil, it's going to be butter. And then I'm going to drink a glass of heavy cream, take a stick of butter, and just microwave it a little bit, and then pour it right into my mouth. I'm
That's a lot of
kidding.
calories. I was gonna say, yeah. I was like, man, Tim, that's a lot of calories, bro.
I do have like a fourth cup of heavy cream for breakfast, and that's it.
Okay, is peanut oil better than regular oil? Because that's
What's regular oil though?
I don't know, just whatever they use other than peanut oil.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Chick-fil-A
Well,
uses
look,
peanut oil.
I can't tell you.
Where's a woman? We need to ask this question.
But I'll just say this: I would rather have peanut oil than canola oil, but I'd rather have avocado oil or olive oil than peanut oil, and I'd rather have butter than any of it.
Yeah, olive oil is.
I think butter's just the best. Organic, grass-fed, and finished butter.
Yeah.
I learned this. I didn't know this. Grass-fed beef. What do you think that means?
Cows that eat grass?
That's not what it means. It means that at some point they gave the cow grass.
Oh wow! At some point.
Grass finished means the cow only ate grass. Oh. Yep. So you get these like this
Weasel
beef in the
words.
store, and it says grass-fed beef, and they're like, right, when they were young, we fed them grass, and then we switched them over to grains.
Oh my God!
Grass finished means they ate nothing but they foraged their whole lives.
It's like when they put like candy and they say 100% fruit, and you're like, wait, no, this is
Okay.
a lie.
No. They say 100% pure beef, and then they argue legally, yes, of the 10% of the burger that's beef, it is 100% pure beef.
Conspiracy here. Organic food. Is it real? How do you tell it's organic or not? How do you know?
They still spray pesticides
It gets
on
certified. It does. There's like certain regulations as to what they can or can't use in terms of pesticides and other chemicals that are on organic food. But we have coffee at Casper.com. It is all certified organic. That means it's a certain process by which they don't use certain chemicals and things like that. And then we have to prove it, submit it to the government, who then says, we agree with the assessment, and they slap the label on it saying, we checked. Yeah.
Shout out to all the vegans.
Shout out, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends.
Yes.
Become a member at timcast.com. You can follow the show at Timcast IRL. You can follow me personally at Timcast. Do you guys want to shout anything out?
Yeah, we're not doing any more chats. You done?
That's it. We're wrapping.
Oh, okay.
Shout out
all right.
time.
Guys, check us out on Fresh and Fit, man, on YouTube and Rumble. And yeah, I mean,
Pretty much it.
yeah, pretty much we live stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We do the daytime show Mondays, Womanizer Wednesdays, and then call-in show and or guest Fridays. And then we do the after-hour show with the girls where we debate different topics. And yeah, man. And then check me out on Fed Reacts if you guys like the criminal justice stuff that I talk about. Give you guys insight. I cover serial killers, terrorism cases, murder, famous case, high-profile cases. I break down cases like this with the Trump situation. I read the legal documents to give you guys my professional assessment on it. And yeah, man, we give you all everything, bro.
Thank you for having us, bro.
And thank you for having us,
Absolutely,
Tim.
dude.
We'll
Yeah,
see you-
Culture War, that was really, really fun.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you guys were able to stick
We'll
around
see
for
you in
tonight.
Miami soon,
And we're
right?
going to have Tim on the pod. I know people,
Yep.
some of you guys were probably wondering, hey, hold on, you guys scheduled the show, whatever. We just had like some technical difficulties because Tim has a different setup than we do. But Tim's going to come to Miami and we're going to have him on the pod. So don't worry. We'll definitely talk to Tim.
When do you guys do
yeah.
your normal show?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, 101, and
Yeah.
then girls like 9.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, guys, Fresh and Fit on YouTube and on Rumble. Check us out over there.
Tim, do me a favor though.
Shout out to Rumble, man.
We come in October.
Rumble's the future.
To Miami. Interview with no beanie.
That's not going to happen.
Free the beanie! Free the beanie, man! Okay, cool.
This guy Fresh, man.
He said, nah.
But no, man, thanks for having us on the show. It's always
Thanks,
great.
Tim. Yeah.
This is our third time on.
Yeah.
And it's always really fun coming up here and hanging
Yeah.
out. So even though we're out in the middle of nowhere, I'll tell you guys a funny story. First time we ever came out here, right? It's out in the middle of nowhere. And me and Fresh get out the car and it's all dark. And I'm like, bro, that's it. Dudes in white hoods are going to come.
We're done.
We're done. This is a setup.
Yeah.
There's no podcast. It's a wrap for us. And it was a great time.
I should have
And
stayed in Barbados, man.
yeah,
I thought there was
Tim's-
gonna be
messed
like
up.
burning crosses or something.
yeah, I thought it was
Yeah,
over.
bro.
I was like, man, it's a double whammy. I'm like black and Arab and Muslim, and he's Bayesian. I'm like, oh my god,
We're done
they got like a kill-tacular right now. This is gonna be so easy
We
for
should
them.
have never agreed to this.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. And then we walked in. It was really a podcast. But Tim's always a great host, man. It's always fun to be here. It's always great to hang out with you guys and chat it up.
Right on, man.
All right, guys. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and X/Twitter at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. Pop Culture Crisis is Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk pop culture, celebrities, movies, entertainment, all that stuff. Come hang out with us.
And you guys can follow me on X at Kellen PDL, where I re-X my friends and coworkers when they post some great points. But yeah, follow me there. Thanks, guys. It was fun hanging out with you all tonight.
Check out the clips we'll have up throughout the weekend.
Yes.
And then we are back Monday. Thanks for hanging out.